Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados right here on Thinking Critical YouTube. A new year, a fantastic panel to talk about all the happenings within the comic book sphere. Now, not a whole lot happening on here, so we'll have plenty of time for side adventures because it was a relatively quiet week in comic books, especially if you like good comic books, unfortunately. But we do have some major players returning to the channel. Josh McDonald, I thought you'd forgotten about us. Like you just left us high and dry.
No, yeah, I haven't been here in a while. Definitely did not forget. Just been busy with work. So we're pretty understaffed at the moment. Go figure. So I haven't had a free Saturday in well over a month.
Have you considered putting, some H-1B visa stuff out there? Maybe you could get some.
You know what? At this point, sure. I've also considered, learning chemistry to see if I can make big. Wait, never mind. Sorry, that's for a different channel.
You're gonna make crystal meth?
No. Although that would make sense in my neck of the woods because it's kind of prevalent.
I was thinking Breaking Bad.
I was thinking Breaking Boom.
Oh, how was your New Year's Eve? Happy New Year's, Josh.
Thanks, man. It was pretty chill. There's a book club with my local comic shop. So with that group, we all got together and just were hanging out and being nerds. So it's pretty
You
awesome.
went out and hung out with nerds on purpose on New Year's Eve? Trying to score?
Yeah, I did. I'm not gonna lie. It was a good time. It's a good group, so that helps. Because I think anytime you have that collection,
sound like a bunch of dorks to me.
We're cool dorks though. We're all dorks here.
Cool dorks. So Josh, before the end of the year, we had been talking to people and we talked about our favorite comic books of 2024, our least favorite comic books of 2024. And obviously you weren't here because you left us and seemed like you forgot about us for so long. What was your favorite comic book series of the year last year? What had you really excited?
I can't answer that because I've signed a contract not to reveal that until Friday.
You can answer.
Look, I'll say a few. Look, almost anything that's coming out of the Energon universe has been a lot of fun. Almost anything that Mark Miller's doing is a lot of fun. And I'm really liking what Ghost Machine has out there. Indies are killing it. I don't give or take maybe some one shots from the big two. The big two really didn't do it for me. Twilight was solid. But yeah, no, we've been very lucky this year that there's actually been a lot of good titles that have come out. So
very nice. You really nailed one down on that one, Josh.
I know. I'm purposely trying not to give away. We're doing like our top 10 list.
I feel like I'm talking to like a NFL coach. I'm like, what's the strategy for the second half? We'll probably play some football. We might run the ball.
That's right.
Considering throwing it.
I'm trying to tell people come tune Max's channel Friday and you'll get the full detail answers. So
go out there, you want to play good, you try to play good. I think we wanted to go out there, we want to make sure that we played good, and I think we played pretty good.
Good.
That was much more of a Tomlinism.
Yeah, pretty much.
A bunch of word salad.
If you want to see me, I was giving my best Kamala Harris impersonation there, so you're welcome.
There you go.
If you want to see me losing my shit, though, you can check out last night's because I just had moments of dropping F-bombs. And I don't mean F-U-C-K, I mean F-A-G-G-O-T.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. Were you flirting or were you really angry?
No, I don't lie. No.
Yeah, but you can say it unironically or not bashing someone.
It's early in Wes's stream, so I'm not going to say it right now.
Okay. Well, what was your least favorite comic book of the year? Did you have one that just stood out as like, I can't believe this got published?
Yeah, look, I think what's going on with Amazing Spider-Man is absolutely atrocious, and it's not only brand damaging for Spider-Man as a character, but it's damaging to the entire comic industry. But it's been a ton of shit in that. Paul is a problem. Gang War was a problem. Just also these issues that we've had with Peter moping about that date issue, which was what number 55. Was that, Max? 155. Yeah, it's been bad. And then just the Batman's kind of the same category for DC. It's pretty equally bad. And then all this session with RuPaul's Drag Race that we're kind of seeing in comics and a number of freaking books. Dazzler, Nyx, Gotham City Sirens. That it's all just
Fire and Ice.
So, Fire and Ice. That
Yeah,
was on my list last night. Like it's god awful.
So
Teeny Howard, Leah Williams, just get them out of here.
did you read this week's Batman?
No, I
shouldn't
read
have
the
to do
first.
this alone.
Yeah, look, I read the first 2 issues of this arc. With what's it, Captain? What's Commander Cap? What is it? What is his name?
Captain
Capitalism.
Yeah, pretty much Captain Capitalism. Pretty much. I read the first 2 issues and I deuced out again. I've deuced out I think 3 or 4 times on Zdarsky.
Yeah, has not been a great run.
Oh.
So how's Popeye Culture coming? We still going?
It's
on?
going well, man. Yeah, I mean, we took 2 weeks off for the holiday because we usually do shows on Tuesdays. So that was hitting Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. So took 2 weeks off. We're coming back with a bang this upcoming week. So we'll get things rocking and rolling.
Very, very nice. And obviously, there's a link in the video description if you'd like to check out Josh's Popeye Culture. Now, you haven't been on the channel in a little while. If you were to sell it to people in 2 or 3 sentences, what would you tell them?
For the most part, we're covering pretty much anything comic book pop culture related. So we're going to be doing comics, movies, TV, full discussions there. I've got series of shows that we're doing. So we've got a book club that we're doing there that I'm getting a number of people on, and we're discussing some older classic stories. We've got Marvelous Monday where we're revisiting the MCU, but like the good stuff of the MCU. And that's been a lot of fun. And we have a new series that's going to start called Graphic Content, and I'm going to get back to actually reviewing comics, but it's going to be graphic novels. I can't bring myself to review individual comics anymore. So
Very nice.
I just want to say, Eric looks especially black this morning, and it's really entertaining.
I need a better ring light.
And in the type of camera that he has is auto adjusting his brightness.
Yeah.
I have the same issue, but I was going to do book clubs, but then I realized it was too much like babysitter clubs type stuff. So we do comics guilds.
Yeah.
Listen,
it's
more masculine.
It is more masculine. And the hardest thing about that is trying to align schedules. Like that is not easy to do. So
Absolutely. We've also got returning MVP Maxfield Von Priestley, the most villainous name in all of comic book YouTube, and Warhammer 40K YouTube. You still doing that stuff?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So actually, Wes, the last time that I was here, I don't know if I updated you or the chat or your subscribers, but so my main channel, which is where I do all my comic book stuff, was demonetized due to what YouTube claimed to be reused content. So I had to resubmit multiple claims, and create a video, and they continued to tell me that I was still out of or not in regulation of their policy. So essentially I'll have to, I know, right? So
not them demonetizing you, just you, but carry on.
That is true too. So but I essentially will have to try and resubmit for monetization in March. So until then, we're just doing videos, and we have a link that people can donate and whatnot to help support the channel. But in the meantime, been focusing on that. But then I kind of shifted over and I said, well, I'm gonna do the Warhammer channel, a little bit too. Maybe I'll put some more effort into that. And my first video is up, long form video where I gave a review and a reaction to the newest Amazon Prime show for the Warhammer 40K series. And it's been doing really, really well, and I'm super grateful. It's already at like 7,000 views. And I think I put that out last week, and it kicked off. And I think so I may start shifting the focus to the Warhammer stuff, but just grateful that I have another opportunity to kind of shift some of my creative focus onto some Warhammer stuff while the comic book channel is waiting to be remonetized.
So you didn't get like a copyright strike or anything, that they're telling you that you used your same content over again?
That was what was surprising, is that it wasn't, because normally you have 3 copyright strikes for chat and viewers who may not know. You get a copyright strike, and if you get 3, you'll get your channel taken down.
Yes.
But I had 0 copyright strikes. I really had 0 any type of, copyright anything. But they claimed that I was reusing content, which means that I had like videos or movie clips or music or something that YouTube didn't like, that thought that I was just kind of repurposing it for the sake of sharing it potentially. So, yeah, there's
that's
that.
a weird thing that's been happening to people.
Mm-hmm.
I even
Especially
had some problems
without
putting like music that wasn't
Shit reported
even,
by Rock and
like,
Robbie.
non-royalty music things. So.
Well, music,
I'm
yeah,
sorry that
music will
happened,
get
dude.
you. Oh, that's
Yeah.
okay, man. I appreciate it. But like I said, we're still going strong. I mean, we still have our Friday night live streams every single week. And that's been a blast and an absolute blessing that I still get to do that. And I am grateful for that. You know, if YouTube just completely took my channel down, I'd be way more upset. But the fact that I still have an outlet to create and talk with friends about comics and Warhammer, it's awesome. But yeah, hoping to get remonetized in the next few months here. But it happened like right before Christmas. So it's like, oh, thanks, YouTube. So yeah.
My goodness, it appears Aaron's having some technical difficulties. Now I'll throw it to you here, MVP. Did you have a favorite comic book series of the year? I know that you got your live stream talking about the best stuff of the year coming up. You want to give us a little teaser on what maybe could be in your list?
I will say that within my top 5 somewhere, I will give you specifics because I really want to shout these books out. Nottingham is one of my favorite series now of all time. And I think that Shane Connery Volk is really coming into his own with his art, how he illustrates. And the story of the Sheriff of Nottingham is impeccable. So that's somewhere in my top 5. And then I will also say that Conan the Barbarian by Jim Zub and Roberto de la Torre is also somewhere near the top of my top 5. So I figured, Wes, that'd probably be one as well for you that you really loved. But man, that Conan art and the story, it just keeps hitting hard. And yeah, so I've really been enjoying it.
Very nice. Did you have a worse comic book series? Something that you're just like, I can't believe this is even happening.
Yeah, Dazzler. And the entire
Dazzler
X line, From the Ashes, has been one large identity politics like allegory, but written poorly. Like, it's not even written well to where I can at least like say, hey, at least it has a positive that it's written well, or that it's illustrated well. Or yeah, it made me think. Or maybe it's like, oh, the allegory that's presented here actually gives you some substance and that you can actually dive a little bit deeper into this. Nope, it is just surface level, heavy-handed, closed-minded. It's the worst. So yeah, the From the Ashes stuff is really bad. Amazing Spider-Man, Fire and Ice, White Widow, and then Wonder Woman was at my number 4 this year. Wonder Woman was pretty atrocious.
We got our first good From the Ashes book this week, which we'll probably get to in a little bit later on. So thanks for updating us on the channel. If people are into Warhammer 40K, I know there's a big audience out there for it, and they're looking for your takes on that. What's the name of the Warhammer channel?
Yeah, you guys can check me out at Brother Maximus. Go check out Brother Maximus or Brother Maximus 40K, whichever one comes up. But you'll most likely see
BROTA apostrophe.
Brother Maximus. No. It's like Brother Maximus. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not Brother Maximus. So, but yeah, no, thank you so much, Wes. I appreciate it. And yeah, it's just another fun creative outlet and another hobby that I can kind of take my tisms elsewhere and put it into some fun Warhammer stuff. So yeah.
Did you do anything fun for the New Year's Eve, or did you take it easy like it seems like all the other old guys here did?
Wes, have you ever seen the 40-Year-Old Virgin?
Yes.
You know the scene where he's like, I have a really fulfilling life. And then it flashes back to him and he's like painting the little miniature and he's like, and now I will paint your silver pants blue. That's pretty much what I did for my New Year's Eve. You painted
figurines.
Wore my Warhammer figurines.
Did you have a beer at least?
No, I did not.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I'm lame.
What did you have? Did you have like a protein shake or something? Were you getting ready to go to the gym?
No, I mean the next morning I went to the gym. So New Year's Day, I was at the gym early that next morning. Wanted to start the year off right. But that night I think I probably indulged and just had like a big if I'm trying to remember, yeah.
Which is out of character. People probably don't realize this, but you used to be well over like 260 pounds.
My playing weight was like 290, 295 when I was playing football in college. I think my picture is still up on the website. So yeah, if y'all want to see thick Maximus,
that should be the name of the fucking channel, Thick Maximus.
There you go. Now we're talking.
That's what it was.
Like, yeah. I missed an opportunity there. Dang it. All right, next time I'm coming to you for names next time, and then yeah.
And you played center in college.
I was an offensive center. I was one of the big uglies, men in the trenches. So one of my
now you're down to what, like
170? Oh God, no, I'm like 210. So
what? You look so skinny.
Oh God, it's my pencil neck. I'm a geek. I'm a dork.
Sparrow, is he like one of those girls on Tinder where you look at the picture and you're like, oh, she looks so hot, and then when she shows up, she's got this like huge, like tank ass or something?
Catfish.
No, Sparrow.
He's also like a
Max
like,
is
what, 6'2"?
He's solid. He's got the classic V, you know.
He's shaped like a bell.
Like a Bruce Timm.
No. Like an upside down Dorito.
Upside down, like, you know, it's just
very nice. So
I
definitely
RuPaul's Drag Race would be saying he's like a dress that's like this.
Definitely be supporting MVP if you get the chance. Go check out his Warhammer channel if you're into that stuff. And so Sparrow, you seem to be having some technical difficulties. Is everything going to be okay there in Cali? He's got a surprise face right now. Like he just got a present.
Oh, I think he.
Oh man, you guys keep. Well,
nope.
Sparrow's God, but we do have Sully, the Sultan of Soup himself.
Hello.
Finally, the apartment is up and running. You've got your own little nerd room there with the spinner rack.
I just need a little bit more light in here. If I open up the shades there and open up the windows, it's too wicked cold out there today. It's like 29 degrees Fahrenheit.
Celsius? Oh.
See, yeah, I knew that was going to happen.
Well, I live in Asia.
We in the Philippines.
Fahrenheit. Yeah.
Exactly. How y'all doing today? Good to see everyone. Good to see Josh. Good to see MVP. It's been a while. And we're looking forward to getting Aaron back. He needs to reboot or something. I almost made a cartoon pun, but you know. But
so how was New Year's Eve for Sully? Did you go out? You went out. I saw you had like a nice shirt on. Your hair was slicked back, like you put a little product in there. Oh yeah, never mind.
You know,
he waxed his head.
I did. I buffed the dome. You know what I mean? Got one of those shoe shiners. But for me, I can go do tops and bottoms with that. You know. And no, it was fun. I went to a party at a friend's place. Had a couple
Jello
of beers.
Shots?
No, I don't do shots anymore. Oh my goodness, 4 beers and I have a tough day the next day. I'm old. Gee, yeah.
I'm with you, dude.
Yeah,
and I drank 6 beers in 2024.
Oh, you deserve more. You know what I mean? You deserve 2 per child per day. That's like come on, think about it. You know,
between the channel and the children, I don't have time to drink.
You could drink while you're making content, and it'll be more. You know, just be like unfiltered, untapped. You know what I mean?
I don't think Drunk Wes would be very good at this.
Drunk Wes. No, I was before the show. Wes was busting my balls in the green room because I'm wearing a Patriots jersey, and we had it's kind of we've normalized as a football team. We had this amazing peak of success that rarely ever happens to any team, and so now we've come back down to earth. And I just think that there's a thing about fandoms, like our comic book fandom, our sci-fi fandom. Max will tell you about the Warhammer fandom, but this is catching up with sports fandoms. Yesterday, one of our linebackers, Jelani Tavai, he said that when we got blown out 40-7 last week at home and our home closer, and the crowd was chanting "Fire Mayo, Fire Mayo." Gerard Mayo, our coach, and so this linebacker is saying that fans, you shouldn't be critics. You need to learn your place. That's a direct quote.
Enjoy content.
And so, but it's like he's a 28-year-old linebacker. You know what I mean? But is like I've always thought that like what's up with creators and artists? Like you know how much heat you get from fans in a sports arena. You know what I mean? Think of your baseball team or your hockey team or even your football team. And it's like, like Josh, like I hear that like in Texas, like high school football is pretty rabid. Like
they have like 30 and 40,000 seat stadiums in high school. Yes.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like, so it's like, is this like you're trying to control fandom, in our legitimate way to air our grievances? You know what I mean? That kind of like,
this is what I'm looking forward to, Sully. The Patriots beating the Bills this week and not getting the number 1 pick and even screwing over their season even worse. If you're going to lose them all.
That's called Schadenfreude, man. You're taking joy in the suffering of others. You know what I mean?
You guys cheated for 15 years.
Yeah.
Spygate, Deflategate. How many times did you guys get caught? Oh no!
I think Sully now he's
acting like he's blind.
Yeah. He's just acting like he's having technical difficulties now. I see how it is.
What's the Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder movie? Hear No Evil, See No Evil. Which was that? It?
No, they were in.
One of them's blind. The other one is deaf. Nobody remembers this movie, me? All right, never mind. I guess we're moving on. Last but not least, we do have Doc in the house. You didn't do anything for New Year's either. You just played board games.
Nope, played board games.
We're such nerds.
I fucking yeah.
I edited videos.
I am old. Dude, I am old. Like, I used to drink way, way, way too damn much. And I think about 5, maybe 6 years ago, I drank 5 bottles of wine one New Year's Eve. That was the worst decision I've ever made.
Oh my God.
That's a lot of sugar in there. You probably had an enormous hangover.
I had the worst hangover of my entire existence. And that was pretty much the end of me drinking. I mean, and I say this as a guy that would drink a case of beer by myself.
Very
like,
nice.
I had my own case of beer and that was mine for the night. And I was fine. That was the end of it.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you've had the wake-up call. Josh, you're supposed to be the movie guru. You couldn't say see no evil, hear no evil? Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor, one of the funniest movies of all time?
I got to be honest, I've never seen that. And anytime I hear those two, I automatically think Blazing Saddles. So that's where my mind went. And I was like, oh, Blazing Saddles, such a fun movie. But yeah,
See no evil, hear no evil is just as funny, but less offensive.
Yeah, well, is it really as funny then? I mean...
Well, I mean, it's pretty offensive to people with disabilities. I mean, it's really fun.
Okay, there we go.
They make fun of them pretty good.
Moved up on my watch list.
You should definitely check that one out.
I will.
But man, everybody's just dropping. I wonder who's going to fall out of the stream next. Is it going to be me? I do have lots of technical difficulties here.
I'm not going anywhere.
So you didn't have power for what, like 28 hours?
Yeah, like 36, but yeah, it sucked. Thankfully, though, it was actually during a very, very mild point. It was like 60 degrees the day my power went out there. It was like a terrible, terrible windstorm. And so it was plenty pleasant. It was fairly warm in the house. So even with no power, yeah. Now, granted, I still would have been fine. Gas heat and everything, and plus I have a fireplace. Although the gas needs the, the thermostat that is electrically powered to run. But I could, jump it to just run constant. Although my house would have turned into an oven then, so probably not the best idea either.
Glenn White says Richard Pryor wasn't in Blazing Saddles, Josh.
He wasn't.
Yep. I don't know. I'm still drinking coffee, so we'll get there. I hear Gene Wilder, I think, in Blazing Saddles.
What the hell happened to you, Josh? You used to be the
I
fucking
don't
movie
know.
aficionado.
I know. I'm failing.
Next thing we know, we're going to find out you didn't watch Sonic 3 yet.
I haven't watched Sonic 3 yet, and I want to.
Exactly. What is this guy
I
doing?
haven't seen Nosferatu yet. Purposely didn't see Craven, although I kind of want to watch it just to laugh at it. But
Well, it sounds like Craven was really good.
good.
Sorry about that.
According to Sony, it's not a bad movie.
Oh yeah, well, the reason the Sony movies failed though was those damn critics out there. Gosh, if it weren't for those critics, Madam Web would have been a masterpiece. Oscars, I tell you, Oscars.
Yeah, and the fans need to know their place.
Let's hear for the peoples. Caleb says, did you see that Mark Ruffalo video? I did not, because I'm almost completely detached from social media and the like. But I almost guarantee you that my boy MVP has seen this. What is he talking about?
Yeah, what happened?
Oh, it was just a diatribe about Elon Musk. He was saying how Elon used to be the champion for, global whatever, and was the forefront of the battle against, the evil corporations and all this stuff. And now he's completely turned sides. Now, of course, I'm doing a terrible job of paraphrasing, but Aaron could probably even speak better to this. So I know that he's gone right now, but he does have a response to this on his Twitter if you guys want to go check it out. But yeah, Aaron did respond to it. So yeah,
there you go. Apparently, he kind of figured out that America was going to go to hell in a handbasket the way we were going. Somebody else also asked Josh, did you see Wicked, since you're the movie guy?
Yeah, no, I'm not a musical person. Despite being a homosexual, I do not like musicals.
It's hard to believe.
That's unheard of.
It's unheard of.
What if there was a musical called Past the Helmet? Would you watch that?
Maybe Past the Helmet I might be down for. There's actually I'll give some grace. There are two musicals that I've seen that I didn't mind. One was The Greatest Showman, which I feel like you classify as musical, and the other is Once. That's it.
Interesting. You didn't like West Side Story?
Yeah, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Nope.
It's the manliest musical ever made.
No.
You seem like what was the one with was it Chicago or Moulin Rouge? You seem like a Moulin Rouge guy.
Nope. Anytime anyone's gonna just be talking and be like, I'm out. I'm fucking out.
Breakout.
I thought Les Miserables, the recent one, wasn't that bad.
It's just not my thing. Musicals aren't my thing.
Are you sure you're gay?
The way things are going and have been going the past few years, I don't know anymore.
There you go. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to give you a crisis.
Yeah, you're
Tim
good.
Drake was sacrificed just for you, and ungrateful.
Kyle and Josh always give me a hard time. They go, "You're gayer than Josh, Max."
That's probably true. I could see you rocking out to some musicals like that. What was that Tom Cruise musical where he was?
Something rock.
Yeah.
Shoot.
I don't know if I saw that one, but I did see Jersey Boys, and that was actually pretty good. Jersey Boys. Yep. See, there you go.
Galb says, congrats to Geeks and Gamers for being the villains in the recent Creature Commanders episode. So James Gunn must be going down that direction, maybe.
Really?
That sounds about par for the course these days.
Did they get Ryan's head right?
Yeah.
I love Ryan. No, I'm not throwing shade. I love those guys.
I mean,
did you just snort?
Oh, maybe. I cracked myself up. I'm just thinking about.
Is anybody watching Creature Commandos? I can't confirm this.
Is there a clip for that? Is it like Jeremy in that issue of that funny book a couple of weeks back?
Oh yeah.
Remember that too? Yeah.
From Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle. Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
It was the YA graphic novel. We talked about it last night. It was This Land is Our Land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
some asshole wouldn't let me put that in my top 10 on the list because it's his channel. So
Correct. It's not a monthly floppy. It was a YA graphic novel.
It didn't meet
mom's
the criteria for consideration.
It had to be
Correct,
in serial format.
At least he's got rules. Well, there you go. Congratulations to Geeks and Gamers. Congratulations, guys. Retro Man, did you guys know all black superheroes are friends? They did this with Coates on Black Panther also when he decided to invite all the black heroes to defend Wakanda instead of his actual friends.
You mean the Crew? That was the fucking worst comic ever. That was just like hey, every black character that matters is going to be on this team for no apparent reason. For some reason, fucking Storm was on it.
I don't even think he's referring to the team. I think he's making fun of what they did in this Captain America book.
Sam Wilson, Captain America #1.
Yeah. Well, they're having a barbecue and just had all the black heroes just happened to be there.
And then they invited Steve so they could guilt him a little bit.
Yeah.
Their token white friend.
Yes. You didn't read the issue, Doc? I sent you a review copy because it's
I glanced through it. I got 5 pages in, and I
came very close to suggesting this as a torture Doc thing, being like, "Hey, Sully wanted us to read this to subject Doc to this." I laid back on that. I was like, "They'll get to it." I should have spoken up. This is my fault.
Well, I'm gonna do a video on it, but I had already decided that Doc and I were going to review Cable, Love, and Chrome this week because he was so adamant that it was going to be bad, and I thought I had a good chance to be good. So we've actually already reviewed it.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
We have.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. But yeah, that was a pretty embarrassing episode or issue of Sam Wilson, Captain America. Not a very good debut, Josh. Did it make you want to buy it and put it on the full list?
And you know what's funny is I didn't look at who wrote it, so I thought it was just some like new up and coming, black person. And I was like, man, it's hard with the Uncle Tom type slant. But then I saw it was Greg Pak, and I was like, dude, what are you doing?
Oh,
Greg Pak and Evan Narcisi.
Yeah, no, it was bad, real bad.
Oh,
it was
so the guy that from I09 got. Oh, okay.
And to top it all off, the art was terrible. I mean, just everything was so flat, uninteresting fight scenes. I mean, it was just what a bad comic. And then it was just really weird. There's no diversity for the good guys, and there's no diversity for the bad guys. Just come on with these on the nose, comics, please.
Obviously, we'll get into that a little bit more here in a few seconds, but I couldn't agree with you more, Retro Man. This is weird. Jagrod 2. Okay, panel. I am getting One World Under Doom. I want to get one series to go with it. What should I get? I'm considering Red Hulk. I think you should unconsider Red Hulk and throw in Weapon X-Men as your One World Under Doom tie-in series to read. Joe Casey. It's got an awesome team there. Even Doc is considering reading that book. What do you think, MVP? Is Weapon X-Men the way to go?
Definitely. Considering that Joe Casey has had this kind of thought for a while now, you guys can actually subscribe to his Substack where he goes through his thought process of creating Weapon X-Men. I believe Perch shared it on his channel one of these weeks, but I would really highly encourage you to do so. Now, don't get it confused, though, with Weapon X-Men from this past year, because that was abysmal, atrocious, and honestly a betrayal to Joe Casey because they used his title for a nonsensical story about multiverse Wolverines fighting Onslaught or something. It was weird. So definitely go with Weapon X-Men. But Wes, I remember your video that was pretty good talking about the thing that holds this back, though, is that it's like the core plot is part of the tie-in where it should just be its own thing, right?
Yeah, it'd be better.
And that's what sucks, and that was what might make it struggle a little bit, is that you're walking into issue 1 already in a event. So I'm not sure, but really looking forward to that one.
I'm gonna put my faith in Joe Casey on that one.
There you go.
All right, Sparrow. What happened? You all right now?
I was having technical difficulties. Not sure exactly what's going on.
Well, you seem to be perfect now. Your
Can you
video's good. You didn't get like frozen on surprise face where you got a present or something, which I thought was lovely. So somebody was asking about a video from what's his name, Mark Ruffalo. We were told that you probably had a better.
Oh yeah, I saw. Yeah, Callum asked. Mark Ruffalo put out this video. I guess it's an older video, but it's one that resurfaced recently, where he's saying that you don't trust Elon Musk. We're the ones you're supposed to trust. And it was like, really? You all the pedophiles in Hollywood? You're the ones we're supposed to trust? No, I'm good.
There you go. So he's just mad at Elon Musk for changing sides.
He's upset because he realizes that celebrities have no influence over the populace anymore. Everybody kind of sees them for what they are, and we're not really interested in their opinions or their takes on anything. And we've all just come back around to the very healthy realization that these people are just adult pretenders, and they are little marionettes up there on stage on string, and we just throw some change at them and tell them shut up and dance for us, monkey.
Very nice. Jagrod 2, Thick Maximus, YouTube, thick everywhere. See, you've already got a little slogan to go with it. Thick Maximus.
Ooh. You know what? Maybe I'll keep my names on YouTube, but maybe the after hours website will be Thick Maximus.
It has to be
You're going to start a Warhammer 40K OnlyFans? That would be awesome.
Yeah, there we go.
Thick Maximus.
A Space Marine helmet and nothing else. No, I'm kidding.
Well, you've got that covered already.
I know.
He's like painting his little fucking dolls.
Yep.
Oh man, that would be awful.
Too funny. But yeah,
is that a vagina or a penis? I don't know. I can't tell.
Oh God. But yeah, thick would have to be spelled with 3 C's. You're right.
That's yes. All the chicks will show up. Trust me.
And finally, Calvin says, I enjoyed Nosferatu. So Aaron was supposed to watch Nosferatu. As far as I know, he hasn't yet. Josh is supposed to watch Nosferatu. As far as I know, he hasn't yet. Has anybody watched Nosferatu that wanted to?
I haven't seen it yet. I would love to check it out. I love vampire movies. I love the old Nosferatu. I haven't seen the Klaus Kinski mid-70s remake, and yeah, I mean, I watched Sopranos on Christmas. I was gonna go, but I just didn't end up leaving the house. It was cold and snowy.
Sopranos?
I watch Sopranos once a year. Dude, I'm one of those fans. Sick in the head.
I haven't gotten through the 3rd issue or episode yet.
Really? Oh gosh. I hope
by that point I'm so bored that I want to
well, okay, Wes,
do anything else.
As a comic book critic, I think it's in your best interest to at least check out the series once in total, because it's had an impact on 2 generations of fiction writers. And that's why we get endless scenes of people talking over eating food and hallway shots and things. I mean, The Sopranos, it's a great show, but it's an oddity because nothing else is like it. But now everything is like it because it is the standard. And so, it's had its impact.
I watch Firefly once a year, and I think I'll stick to that.
That's a good one. I like that idea. One.
So there you go. Callum is saying Nosferatu is good for all of you guys that are supposed to have gone and seen it yet. Jagon 2, Max likes orders from female Imperial custodies.
Oh, gosh.
Sounds about right.
Games Workshop.
I'm going to be honest. If you do a Warhammer 40K themed OnlyFans channel called Thick Maximus, I don't think you're going to get any female customers.
No.
I said call it Maximus Seximus Murthicamus.
I do like this. Father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife. Now have my vengeance. Yeah, no.
You're dragging the mood down. You're dragging the sex vibe down with all your murdered wife talk.
Oh, sorry.
That's my aide de camp, biggest dickus.
Biggest dickus.
You laugh when I say biggest dickus.
Did anybody watch freaking Gladiator 2?
Ooh, no.
No, I hadn't. No, sorry.
Zero interest.
Yeah, same.
You guys used to be like the big movie guys. Aaron was going to a movie every week. Josh was going to multiple movies a week. Now you guys just don't watch movies?
That's when movies were decent. You know, like now it's a crapshoot of, you know, how shit is your shit gonna be. Like, Nosferatu is probably the. Yeah, I mean, look, fair. Sonic 3 and Nosferatu are probably the only safe bets we've had in months. So
you probably would have liked Wicked. It's a musical.
No.
I don't know what it is, Kalichioki. These guys are crazy.
I've seen the Broadway show. It happened.
I thought it was fine.
Good.
It was good.
Don't need to revisit it.
Yeah, but it's in movie form now. There you go.
Yeah, with an insufferable lead.
What do you got against what's her face? Grande.
I'm not talking about Grande. I'm not talking about the skeleton. I'm talking about the orc. You can go and pretend this is a Dungeons and Dragons movie.
So you have a spare ring light? Is that what happened, Sully?
No, actually, I moved my mic cord, and there's some static electricity off the rug, and then all of a sudden I lose my entire desktop and my ability to use my mouse. So I was like, okay, let me just shut down, reboot real quick. And while it was going on, I was like, I have a spare ring light. I was like, okay, let me just grab it real quick, MacGyvered some shit. And now look, I'm not dingy anymore.
Man, you might have developed superpowers if you're able to affect a computer like that with some.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's the onomatopoeia.
Let's give a little shout out. We have a couple people returning to Think Critical Patreon this week. First up, we've got Dominic Mason, aka Stoneheart, the protector of Heroes Harbor, as well as Jose Avila, Pluma Poderosa, the protector of Skyward Keep. Appreciate you guys coming back and enjoying Think Critical Patreon. If you're interested, there is a link in the video description. You get a superhero name, you get a city to protect, and you get awesome podcasts featuring Jim for Weird Science, Aaron Sparrow, Doc, 32 Flavors, Nick Weiser, more of me than you could possibly ever imagine. And we have a whole lot of fun there. So thank you very much. I also want to say thank you very much to Sean Douglas Sutton. What is it? He says, Happy New Year's to you all. And do not take your child with you when you go out to fight the government with your lava gun. Disney Star Wars sucks.
I want a lava gun.
He's talking about Absolute Superman there, Doc. That was a weird moment.
I still want a lava gun.
Did you read Absolute Superman, Josh?
I did. I did.
Did you think that they were like the worst parents of all time during that thing?
Everyone's shitty in that book. The parents are not great. Yeah, there's so much I hate about that.
She literally got a lava gun to go murder people, and it's like, come on, Kal-El, you're riding shotgun.
Yeah. There's so much I hate about that book. The whole coal mine, so much.
So you're not an Absolute Universe guy?
No, I'm not a fan of any of the three books. Yes, including Absolute Batman. Can't stand it.
I think Absolute Batman's pretty hilarious. It's fun.
Sure.
Oh my goodness. I feel like Josh lost his smile somewhere. You know what I mean?
Possibly.
Josh, he got his groove back. How's that? I'm looking forward to that.
We need to send Josh to the Caribbean so we can get his groove back.
Dude, I would love to go to the Caribbean.
Like a Hallmark movie. You know what I mean? One of those cruises. Comes back with a smile on his face.
Yeah. More ganja in his system than you could possibly imagine.
Ooh.
So, I guess we'll get into the main topic. We did get Sam Wilson, Captain America, from Greg Pak, formerly a good writer, not a good writer anymore, with Evan Narcisi and is it Edir Macias? An artist that I've seen before. And this was not a successful adventure or foray into another chapter of Falcon Cap. To my knowledge, the only person I've ever met in real life that enjoys any of the Falcon Cap stuff is Aaron Sparrow. I know you really like the Rick Remender stuff there at the beginning. What did you think about Sam Wilson, Captain America this week?
I was immediately bored. As soon as the stupid-looking vampires showed up, and then they had to, of course, bring in Steve Rogers because we had to get that pat on the back that like no, Sam's really Captain America, guys. You can trust me because I'm Captain America right here in the book, telling you that Sam Wilson he's a viable Captain America, and all of us going nah, I just it just wasn't good. I'm just kind of like checked out of the Marvel universe. They can't really do anything anymore to hook me in because the quality on each book is so wildly divergent. And I don't mean like some are really good and some are really bad. I mean, they're all bad, but in like varying degrees and different ways. And so being plugged into the Marvel universe is what used to kind of like keep me going on all their books or have me interested in their characters. And they just don't have that anymore.
So there's no book out there that has you like locked into where you're even willing to taste test other Marvel products right now.
No, I mean, I'll dip in, but it's only when you send me review copies. There's nothing that I'm going out there and picking up off the stands. Yeah, like there's nothing I'm going and picking up off the stands and saying, you know, okay, I'm going to read this. It has to be homework because otherwise I'm just disinterested. I'm not buying anything from Marvel right now.
What happened to Greg Pak? He used to be really good. Obviously, he did World War Hulk. He did Planet Hulk.
Hold on.
Well, he did ideas that were handed to him by his editor. You know, he did. You know, he had Mark Panizia feeding him storylines and overseeing his work. You know, and sometimes an editor makes all the difference. You know, you've got editors out there that really still do the job and still try to work hard and put out good stories. And that was Mark at the time. So you know, Mark was trying to do really interesting things with the Hulk, and you know, he kind of had a hand on Greg's career. As soon as Greg broke away and he started to do, you know, stuff under other editors that, you know, maybe weren't his hands on, we got to see what his caliber of writing really is. And unfortunately, this Falcon Cap book is it.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I look at Greg Pak the same way people do, you know, Zeb Wells or Jed McKay or any of these other
Cullen Bunn.
Yeah. Well, hold on. No, I wouldn't go there.
Okay.
I wouldn't go to Bunn or Cates. But what I mean is guys that had a middling career, had one-hit wonders, and then we call them good writers later because they did it once. And that's where I think Greg Pak was never a good writer. He was a writer that did a good story and then went back to being a nobody writer. He's a one-hit wonder writer. And we fall into these traps where people think, oh, well, you know, they did that, like they're leveling up. No, they're not. The only way that they level up is if they continue doing good stuff after their one hit.
I just think it's funny that we've hit a point where, you know, you still can't have a white writer come in and write a black character, but you know, as long as there's some other minority group, like, you know, you can bring in Greg Pak to write this, you know, write all these black characters that are appearing in Captain America, you know, Sam Wilson, Captain America, you know, so you've even got like the bit where it's like, oh, everybody's together, you know, they're on the lawn, there's Ironheart and there's Cloak and Storm and Miles Morales and, you know, Blade is like mixing it up just because he's black. He's mixing it up with all the black superheroes, even though he has absolutely no reason to be here. And it's just kind of funny to me that like they were like, hey, who can really nail these character voices? Since, you know, everything is still about identity. Greg Pak, that's who.
Evan Narcisse is black. I just Googled him.
Yeah,
I didn't know anything about him until 2 seconds ago.
He was an IO9 columnist.
I think Evan's bringing the flavor.
Yeah, he's an IO9 columnist that used to just fillet everything that Marvel did, except for old school superhero stories. Anything that was new, it didn't matter. And all that shit that we saw from basically Marvel Now until, I don't know, 2017, like 2019, when he finally got his chance at Marvel. He spent like 8 years sucking the dick of everything that was new and terrible that Marvel was doing and just absolutely pumping all that garbage up. All the shit that drove away tens of thousands of readers. He spent like 7 years pumping up so that he could get a gig. He's the fucking poster boy for it. Him, Charlie Jane Anders. There was at least one other IO9 sycophant that used to just fillet all the stuff that the new, young, terrible female editors would put through, fit on any old school style superhero comic. And then eventually they got their opportunity to get into Marvel and they started writing. They've never written anything that sold at all, but they're still fucking there.
I was looking up. I was looking at some of these pages, and I'm looking at that page where, like you guys were talking about, it's just all of Sam Wilson's friends, and they're all
In
just
one
black
room.
superheroes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
in one
it's
room.
so flat. There's like no
And-
sense of depth either. It's like
Right.
terrible artwork.
And I gotta feel like, isn't this like the most patronizing thing ever for black people? Like, doesn't it feel like, I don't know, I just looked at it and I was like, this got to be a joke, right? But you know that they would be like, oh, this is one of our most diverse comics ever. And I'm like, it's not diverse at all. Like the Uncanny X-Men were much farther more diverse. You had a Canadian, you had a Russian, you had a woman from Africa, you had
A
who else?
Japanese guy.
A Japanese guy, yeah, like
Native
you had
American.
a Native American.
Mhm.
Everyone was
German,
in there,
a blue
and it
German.
yeah. So it's like,
German.
man,
Well, guys, do you know what the,
comics
you know
have
what the
gotten
best?
progressively not as diverse. Sorry, what's up?
No,
man?
it's like super segregationist. It's like, it's like, hey, welcome to the superhero cookout. And it's like, okay, there's no heroes here that are anything other than black. So is it just the
Remember-
exact superhero cookout? But here's the funny thing. If you look at the art on that page when they're all outside having the picnic,
Mhm.
and everybody is crowded around Patriot for some reason, like, like he's just like the most wonderful thing in the world. But if you
He was a
look
drug
at,
addict.
if you look in that panel, the artist clearly drew Tony Stark in. And they just
Oh,
color
that's
swapped it
funny.
to War Machine. Like that's clearly Tony Stark's face. And they just colorist was just like, I guess everybody's supposed to be black. Or,
Well, remember-
basically they told him like, no, you shouldn't have Iron Man in here. What do we do? Just make it War Machine.
Well, remember,
That's interesting, dude.
the same people that call that the most diverse comic ever also called Black Panther the most diverse movie ever.
Yeah,
That's true.
That's right. Oh my gosh, that would be pretty funny if editorial was just like they did that in. I think it was actually the first Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos. They had an individual who the colorist thought was white, but I guess he was written as black, and so they just, yeah. But in this case, it would be the opposite. But yeah.
I mean, it looks like they went in and they drew the the little bits on him, especially in the later parts of the book. But just in that one moment, it looks like the artist drew Tony Stark.
It really does. Yeah.
Well, I think that's somehow worse than the writing from Greg Pak and Evan Narcisse. Is the art's worse? Like it's terrible
Yeah.
across the face, especially the faces. They all look like they have like stroke face
Oh yeah.
or Bell's palsy or something. Isn't that what that's? Strange?
Good old JR.
I know that
I
you're a
don't-
big fan of lens flares, Sully. Did that do it for you? Did the lens
No.
flares really work?
Dude, after I read this book, I had to go watch J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies over and over again, just so I can get even more lens flares. I love those lens flares. Man, what a bad
Oh,
book
boy.
this was.
So
What
Sully,
bad
you're
movies
somebody
do?
that keys in on the art is something that sells you on the book. I mean,
Mhm.
was this amongst the worst things that Marvel's put out in the last year? I know you read most of them.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty bad. I mean, story-wise, art-wise, even it's like, let's drop a legacy number on top of this beast. And yeah, it's Legacy 767. So this is a bona fide issue of Captain America. I love my favorite part of this book is the info dump page, because you get the info bomb at the top of every page. Once a social worker in Harlem, Sam Wilson's life changed forever when he gained high-tech wings and the ability to communicate with birds. Well, that's actually it explains things that happen later on in the books when he's talking to Red Wing and the other birds that that are just, they're like drones. And it's just like, that's, for me, that was like the only good part of the book, a little story-wise, because that's an old Falcon thing, So I'm a Falcon fan. I'm not sure about the Cap part, but
Yeah,
I don't
I
want to
don't-
be
yeah.
accused of a hate crime either.
I don't know what you guys were saying. I thought this book was excellent. It was hilarious. If you read all the black dialogue like Mammy from Gone with the Wind, you're going to be laughing your ass off.
Oh, God.
You guys are terrible.
I didn't think the art was awful. I think it was probably some of the better art that we've gotten from Marvel lately. But this is
no way.
I don't think it's the worst. It's certainly like the guy does some dramatic angles. He's clearly trying to tell the story. I think that you're just sticking an artist with a terrible script, and who knows what kind of deadline he was on. Some of the character faces needed to be reworked, but remember, these are all guys that are being overworked. They're not being given much time on the schedule, and they're not being given any kind of editorial feedback. So it's just like what comes in is what comes in.
Well,
Yeah.
probably. I mean,
That's the hottest Sparrow take of 2025.
I do like that we get an ad page right before the final page. That was really good to take you right out of what's supposed to be the dramatic moment of the story. Let's stick the ad right there. And
Marvel's
the
been doing
reason,
that lately.
yeah, but it almost feels like the editor didn't watch their page count, so they didn't know what their page turn was, and they were like, "Oh shit, we're not," like the page reveal that we already spoiled on the cover, so it's not even like it's a big deal. That page reveal is on the opposite page, so when you turn it, you're going to see it immediately. We need to put an ad in there so that it's on the right page turn.
What would you have done to fix this book, Aaron? Was there any saving Sam Wilson as Captain America?
No, I wouldn't have greenlit a Sam Wilson Captain America book because no one likes it, no one cares, and this movie isn't going to do any piece of business that's going to make this worth tying in. So, I just wouldn't have done it. I mean, I think Falcon as Cap has run its course. I think it ran its course right after that first Remender story. That story should have ended with him realizing that, hey, you know what? I already have superhero identity. Taking on the identity of this white guy doesn't really do anything for me. Feels like a hand-me-down, and I am a viable and important superhero in my own right. I have my own identity, and he should have gone off into the sunset, and that should have been the end of this experiment. Because that was the only good story that we ever got with Sam Wilson Falcon Cap, and that was because it was a fish out of water story. It was Sam Wilson in a Steve Rogers style adventure.
I think I think we agree that Falcon is a good character. The problem is, like, anytime we get books now with him as Cap, or even any of these characters in this book, like, Marvel is got such a hard on for telling you how great this character is instead of just telling a cool story. Like, if you would just tell a cool story, people are like, all right, I think I might be down for this. Like, if something else comes out, I'll check it out. But no, we've got to spend like an entire issue talking about how great every single one of these characters are without them actually doing anything.
Except for Falcon's cousin that's trying to scam Storm and everybody else.
Yeah,
I'm glad that Storm is attending segregationist barbecues, since the mutants are all about like they used to all be about hey, we want to be accepted, we want to be part of this larger world, and ever since Krakoa they're all segregationists. So I'm glad that she was there because it makes sense for her character now.
Now, somebody did mention the movie. Josh, you're the movie aficionado guy. We got Captain America: Brave New World, which is probably the only reason this book, as well as that Red Hulk book, are even coming out this year. And it feels like a sinking ship that's pre-sinking at this point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just across the board. I think they're going to find that, as Aaron said, there's just not a lot of people with interest in Falcon Cap, and that there's not much value there with him as a leading man. And I like Anthony Mackie, but they haven't done enough with that character to warrant him taking the mantle. I think even online, you've seen plenty of people saying it should have been Bucky for that character's arc. It's not going to do well. I think they've come back and they've brought in creative people behind the scenes to try to fix it as best as possible, but you're still going to have a mess of a story when that film releases. And you'll have maybe some cool scenes, but nothing that you'd really want to see in an action superhero film.
Are you hearing anything behind the scenes? I know we keep hearing that the test screenings are going terribly and they have to keep reshooting the film.
Yeah, I mean, that's again where ever since they had the change in how they're doing things, and Kevin Feige is like, this isn't working, we're going to change the people behind the scenes. They've been trying to step in the right direction. I think this film was too far gone. The Russo brothers stepped in a little bit to provide some feedback, and then that led to some reshoots. It's also where I think he's playing Sidewinder, I believe. I might be mistaken.
Giancarlo Esposito, yeah.
Yeah.
Sidewinder
But
name only.
Yeah, but I do think those are probably going to end up being some of the better, more intense scenes in the entire film. And it was the shoehorn throw in towards the last minute, film what we can so we can throw it in the trailer. But yeah, other than that, I'm not expecting much.
What are you expecting the actual Chris Evans coming back for Doomsday? Is he going to be, what is it, the
Hydra Cap?
Hydra Supreme?
I think we might see some of those people coming back playing multiple roles. So you might see Hydra Supreme, you might see him as a regular Cap, and you're probably going to see, Joe Biden Cap again. But
he did look like Joe Biden. No. Weird. That was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he could answer questions, so that was the big difference. That's how you knew it wasn't Joe Biden.
He's got his mental faculties still. I don't know, MVP. I mean, obviously, you're a big comic book fan. It just disappoints me that they keep going back to this well time and time again, and they're never going to get it right. Because I don't think that they're willing to get a writer that's willing to even give him a story that makes him look cool. It's always got to be about he's not Captain America, he's the Black Captain America, and that's what the focal point of the story is, rather than being the symbol of hope and freedom.
Dude, you're so right. One of the things I was writing, like a script for the video that I'm doing, which is essentially just like, the worst comics that I read of 2024. And I kept seeing this theme, this reoccurring theme within all of the comics. And it was sacrificing creative integrity for idealistic propaganda, and a lot of these comic books, or as Sully calls them, funny books, should be just that, funny books, right? They should be entertaining. They should take you out of the monotony of life. They should give you that escapism. And some of them, if they're good, should pose ethical, theological, philosophical, and moral questions that may ask you, man, that's a great way to pose something like that. I wonder what I would do in that situation. Or I wonder how Cap deals with something like this, right? But if they're not doing that, then just tell a great story. Have him on all these different adventures and have him creating a legacy for himself. But he can't step out of the shadow without Steve Rogers patting him on the back and going, "You're the best Captain America," right? And yeah, it just feels like these are ideologues writing for themselves to get their own pat on the back, and for their group of peers on what is it, Blue Sky. As our friend Kyle so lovingly says, they're not tweeting on Twitter, they're queefing on Blue Sky. So I don't know how that came about, but that is the new term that he uses. And yeah, it feels like a lot of these books are written with the sole purpose of being intentional about pushing some sort of agenda rather than allowing their creative integrity to supersede that and showcase to the world that, like, hey, we're interested in telling great stories and not necessarily just pushing our message. And that's something that's rare these days.
Yeah, because back in the day, Rhodey did become Iron Man, not for like an issue or two. He became Iron Man for quite some time.
Yeah,
and you never had people like, "Oh my goodness, you have the first Black Iron Man." It was like, "Oh, Rhodey had to become Iron Man because Tony Stark became a drunk again, and he was irresponsible, and he couldn't be the hero that he was meant to be, and he stepped into the role, obviously temporarily, and it was kind of a cool story, but you're not really allowed to do anything like that. Like, you can't write a John Kent Superman story as him being the heir apparent to Superman. He could only be the gay Superman. You can't write a Sam Wilson story as Captain America. He can only be the Black Captain America, and it really does limit them on what they're allowed to do. And I don't know if that's from editorial or the writers themselves. And once you make a lot of these swaps when it comes to the long-standing mantles, where you have like the straight white hero that everybody thinks is passe and out of touch with modern society, but then when you change them in there, they do become overtly political. And I think that just kind of ruins them sight unseen, because it limits to such a degree the amount of stories that you can tell that are actually fun, that they're really non-existent at this point.
Oh, 100%. And I think too, once we start noticing that as fans and we start saying like, man, you're really only good, this is so one note, right? You're only going this direction. You're only talking about whatever it may be, race relations, or this type of cause, or global warming, or like it's just one note, and you're only doing this. And once we point it out, or once we talk about it, or once we like express our concerns, legitimate concerns, that we go, hey, I'm really not enjoying this book. I think the thing that really pushes fans to the limit is when then you get the responses of, oh, well, you don't like it just because you're an istinophobe. And I think that's what really pushes fans away from being like, well, no, we loved Rhodey when he was Iron Man, but we don't like what you're doing here. So I think the response from how writers and creatives and these publishing companies are responding, that is a huge reason why I think stuff like this just doesn't work anymore, because fans are sick of being called ists and phobes just because they're like, hey, I didn't really like this issue. It's like,
yeah, it's
well, a lot
safer
of
to avoid
mantle
it.
swaps used to be temporary. Like, how long does Elektra need to be Daredevil?
oh,
It's been like 4 years now. Like, why?
and they're coming out
He's
with
been out
another number one like next month or so, or actually maybe this month, that it's a red band issue. It's like, why?
Band?
No one wants that.
Wait,
Someone said
Very-
Red Band?
we got
Nobody
Sully's
but
attention.
Sully wants that.
Sorry, Sully. If you want that, that's fine. But
I'm off the sauce, yo.
Doc and I say it's not fine.
No.
I need the esteem of my peers.
But Elektra's a cool character as Elektra, but as Daredevil, she's just not Matt Murdock, and that's not fun.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what happens here. There's another
Weird
false start
college
for
boy
Falcon
shit.
Cap again.
It's
Sharing the power. Yeah,
Look,
we have to share the power. Who has to share the power? It's all of the iconic, classic, characters. They need to be forced to share their power. Then that's a huge social justice message. That's
Yeah.
and that's the cooked in activism in comic books that we're rejecting. It's becoming, come on, you guys.
nobody wants.
Seriously.
That's because nobody wants to share the power of Miss Kamala Khan. Nobody wants to share the power of fucking Jessica Drew. No, they want to share the power of Spider-Man because Spider-Man fucking sells.
Right, and Iron Man and Captain America, and just like I hope Doom. Doom has he's got Doom bots. So
Well, they also
We got Reed Richards Doom.
You also had Valeria kind of being like young tween Doom for a short period of time. Look, nobody wants to be those other characters. That's why the only people that have to share. Did anybody want, like, look, Falcon was a great character, but did anybody want to be him? No.
right, where's the Blue Marvel Corps?
Yeah,
Blue Marvel's a fucking cool character. What are you talking about?
he's a great
awesome.
he is a cool character, but nobody wants to be him.
Like, where's
Nobody
Black
wants.
Goliath? Is he still dead?
Shut.
No,
Yeah, I
he's
want to
in
be
the-
Storm, man. Storm powers are awesome. She's got
Oof,
maybe the
fair.
best power in all of comics.
Storm was my favorite X-Men all time.
Yeah. Power to control the weather. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Like, look, 6-year-old me used to run around the house doing my best Storm accent from the animated series. Yelling for the weather to come down and do its fury.
Very
I don't
nice.
know.
So you wanted to be Storm rather than Thor. I like it.
Yeah, I was misguided at the time.
Thor didn't have a good cartoon.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Josh
fair.
had nothing.
That is fair.
Josh had nothing to latch onto. He didn't
That's
have
right.
a voice to put to the character.
I want to just bring up something, like, we're talking about this book and we're kind of going high level. We haven't really discussed just how bad the writing itself is, though. Like,
Oh, it's
from
terrible.
a story aspect, from just like everything that's in here, you're reading it, you're like, no one talks like this. But then you have shit like the whole 40 acres and a mule line. Like,
That
how
was pretty-
hard are we trying? That's cringe.
It was the electronic
Also-
mule.
But also the first page when they're like, "Oh, I was hoping for peas and rice." I'm like, "Who the fuck eats peas and rice?" I don't know. I've heard of beans and rice.
Red beans and rice.
Exactly. And I live like in the ghetto. So
It's in a Sir Mix-a-Lot song,
In
for
the
God's sakes. It's
ghetto.
right
Nah,
there.
you go to Central America, you get other beans besides red beans with your rice. It's delicious.
Yeah.
no
Black
beans, but he
beans,
says
peas.
peas. The
Yeah.
only pea that I can
Yeah.
think of that would taste good with rice is maybe a purple whole pea, like a black-eyed pea. But even then, I'm like, let's just go. At that point, go with beans.
Black-eyed pea is really a bean anyway. Being honest. But yeah, the dialogue in it is really bad. Like you can't separate a black woman from Storm, or like,
Oh
Oh
God.
God. Yeah.
it's so eye rolling. So yeah,
I mean, let's just take a moment to remember that these random, like with this issue starts with random nobodies getting attacked by vampires and
vampires want to take over
smiling.
a soup kitchen.
Yeah,
That was strange.
vampires that want a soup kitchen, first of all, for fucking whatever reason.
Well, see, that way you get the people that are on meth, so you get the blood, but you also get that little kick.
Oh,
Jesus.
okay.
Ooh, yeah.
But like they're getting attacked. This dude's about to get his throat ripped out, and he's just all fucking smiles. Because
you don't know.
Sam
We're under the
Wilson's
protection
coming.
of Sam Wilson. Yeah.
And
Like,
by the way,
it
these robo vampires, like they're out in the
look-
daylight. Like I don't know what's gone on with vampires in the Marvel universe, but
and
They're
like,
all
They can go out
like
during the
War
sunlight. That was
Machine.
a
Yeah.
Fallout of Blood Hunt.
It's a
was it really?
post-blood
Oh,
hunt.
jeez.
Status quo. Yeah.
That was
It's
like
changed the
dumbest
Marvel
thing about
universe
Blood
forever.
Hunt. The entire world became blacked out. So vampires were out 24/7 eating people. The vampires were defeated, and they're no longer affected by the sun, but they stopped eating people.
Well, here they want to eat people. They want to eat them all up.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
going for the soup kitchen.
I mean,
heard
I
they
guess
had
when you're a
good soup
down
kitchen.
on your luck vampire, you go to the soup
Yeah,
kitchen.
maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know because I didn't open my Blood Hunt red bands. I kept them in the bag to collect, because I didn't want to ruin their collective value.
Of course,
Where-
the acidity
where-
of those bags over time are going to dissolve your comic book. But
My-
okay.
My question is, so all right, let's just go with. I'm just going to go with the plot, like in the first couple of pages here. So you got Sam Wilson, you got a soup kitchen that only black people are going to, which seems weirdly racist. Then it gets attacked by vampires that look oddly like War Machine. And then Sam Wilson shows up, and then Captain America pops out of a fucking alley just to validate him. And then somehow there's like paparazzi and fucking like professional photographers behind them. Was there something special about this food kitchen that I was unaware of? Like, was it like the celebrity food kitchen for when, I don't know, fucking who's that? Who was the one? There's a couple of them that were like stars that end up homeless. Is it like for the homeless stars?
I have no idea.
Did you
It
guys
was just
happen to
weird.
notice that when Captain America steps out of the alley, he's holding somebody like that he just defeated, but it doesn't look like one of the vampires, and it's colored just like one of the neighborhood people that were at the soup kitchen? So, like, Captain America's like, you do have good friends. I just happen to be in this alley beating up the locals.
Oh God.
All right. Let's hear for the peoples. RateX7 says, I'm black, and I can tell you for a fact that African Americans and Jamaicans eat peas and rice.
Mom.
Fair.
There you go.
I
Josh.
just say,
Josh.
I mean,
hey, look, someone was giving examples of I had pork chop with peas and rice, as the peas were a side and the rice was a side. I do that all the time. But usually if you say peas and rice or beans and rice, it means
think
that
it's
is the
beans and
dish.
rice.
You've got a bowl and all that's in there are the beans and the rice or the peas and the rice. I've never heard of a dish that's just peas and rice.
yeah, it feels
I
like
might be wrong. Solely, you're a chef. Let me know.
It's your privilege, kid.
He talks about it like it's an entree, though. The way that it's written is still the problem.
It's like
He says like soup's on. And he's like, oh, I was hoping for peas and rice. Like, does soup mean that there's no peas and rice? And he's like, we got that too. And then it's like, come on, let's eat, to set up the vampire going, yeah, it's a good time to eat. It's just.
and then you have one
I
of the
just-
50 million
fellas.
or in the book.
Oh, I know. The guy's like, ha ha ha. Like when he says, like, we got peas and rice too. And then one guy's like, ha ha ha. And it's like, that wasn't a joke. That wasn't funny. Like, what?
Wraith X7 says the dish is called peas and rice. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's
that's
cool.
It's a Caribbean thing.
Seems like half completed fried rice, but okay.
I imagine that peas and rice is probably a dish. Like I've said, I've had beans and rice. It's good stuff.
You need to add carrots and eggs and chicken and soy sauce and onions. Then you
that's
fried rice.
That's fried rice. That's not Caribbean.
I don't care. Well,
but just the setup is the problem. Is the setup? The problem is, hey, we need to mention some black food so that we have some authenticity here, right? What is considered black food, Evan? You know, you can just feel like Greg Pak's mind working. He's like, I would know if it was Asian because I am Asian writer Greg Pak.
Very nice. Sleeve it, Dakel. My brother is a huge Captain America fan, loves Falcon, and is way more progressive than me, but even he is bored with Sam's Captain America.
Wow.
It's just not a good fit for Sam. Sam is already a fully developed character in his own right.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to make him into somebody else. It felt...
Yeah. These are supposed to be short-term stories and changes.
Yeah.
It's been like 10 years now.
Well, it's the same thing as, look, whenever you have somebody take it over, the same way that fucking Laura Kinney, they're still trying to force that as she's Wolverine. I mean, she has her own fucking book right now of her being Wolverine again, even after they, realize the mistake and go back to... Like, they've done it with Sam, 3 times where they've realized the mistake, made him back into Falcon, and then they just come and do it again. Bitch, please. Like, the 7th time is not the fucking charm.
But maybe if we take away the real Captain America book, we don't let him have a book. Or when we because we tried running 2 simultaneously, where we gave the better creative, technically, to the Sam Wilson book and the shittier creative to the Steve Rogers book. We tried it that way, but that still didn't work. So maybe if we just take Steve Rogers away completely, you will be forced to read Sam Wilson Captain America. They did that. But that's not the way it works. We just don't read Sam Wilson Captain America.
It's ironic because the female in the animal kingdom, the female Wolverine is known as the Angeline. And that would be a cool code name for Laura Kinney. If the point was to give her a cool code name. No, the point is to get the classic, cisnormative heroes to share their power.
I'm going to come up to Boston and kick you in the balls for saying
X-23 is a great name.
X-23 is a great name, but like Angeline, I mean, see, that's got a ring to it. I mean, I like it.
Isn't that too close to Evangeline? And then they'd have to pay Rob another royalty, and then he'd be on Twitter talking about how everything that he did is genius, and he should be hailed as
promoting it again.
Well, isn't there a whole movement like we don't want X-23 to be X-23 because that's like her slave name?
Yes, there is.
It's like, come on. Just because you call her Wolverine doesn't mean her past wasn't as this like test tube baby, like clone.
And masochistic child prostitute.
I just still think it's weird that Marvel policy and Marvel creative is controlled by 12 people on Twitter who have sock puppet accounts and who don't buy comics, but they just bitch about everything and have an opinion on everything.
Okay, Sleep It Daco. Miles has the same problem. So much potential, but instead of evolving into his own character Nightwing style, every story is either about him being urban Spider-Man or comparing him to Peter.
Yeah.
Or in the Spider-Man 2 game, Peter telling him, "Oh, you're a better Spider-Man than I ever was."
Yeah.
That's the only point of any of the diversity bingo renditions of the real characters. They only have 3 stories. That's it.
Well, they have more than that. They redo the Spider-Man stories over and over with the same exact villains.
Yeah. I mean, so they have 3 stories. Copy Spider-Man or copy the real hero, be the minority version of said hero, or get validated and told you're the better version of that hero. That's their only stories.
Yeah, I think part of the problem too is like when you have characters like this where you've got Falcon Cap to Cap and Miles compared to Peter, you hear people say like, oh, it's not as good as Steve or it's not as good as Peter. And then it becomes a race issue of like, oh, well, they're not as good as the white guy. But I think the whole point and part of the reason we love comics is like we aspire to be like Peter. We aspire to be like Steve. Like, it's just that character. It's not a race thing. It becomes a race thing. But it's really just that character is so good. And instead of letting these characters go through experience and show their true heroic side, their nature, they're like, I'm going to rise above this and just let their actions speak. We've got to have this pandering of everyone telling them how incredible they are when they don't do anything incredible.
Well, I think Miles is an example of a character that's almost worked. At least he's had some success. Obviously, he's had the movies. He's had his own video game. And it's certainly the Miles Morales as Spider-Man is taken much better than as Sam Wilson as Captain America. But also, Sam Wilson was already established as Falcon before that. And Miles' entire time in the Marvel Universe has been a Spider-Man, obviously starting out in the Ultimate Universe. So I think it's
I would point out that the Miles Morales movies have Peter Parker in them. And
they do, but he's certainly not the star.
He's not the star, but he's still there. You still need him as that crutch to make that movie work. If they had just put out a straight Miles movie and it didn't have Peter and it didn't have all of the, like the fantastic animation, let's not undersell that. It's just fantastic to look at. I don't think it would have been as successful. And the thing that you keep running into is no matter what you do, Miles Morales as a Spider-Man will never be as much of a moneymaker or as popular or put as many butts in the seats as Peter Parker, who is Spider-Man.
Well, that's definitely true. But he should have his own identity. I think they're foolish for not doing that.
Once they brought him into the regular universe, he needs his own. The problem is they can't come up with a cool name.
I got one. He's half Puerto Rican. Hombre Araña. That's how you say Spider-Man.
That's not going to sell. You put that.
You've already got Araña.
Hombre Araña sells fine south of the border.
It's not cool enough. You got to come up with a cool name, and that's the problem.
They can't. That because I made it up. If you made it up, you'd be all into it.
Nah, I wouldn't.
I don't know, man. You said, what was it, Angel Vereen or something, and I thought that's not a good idea.
Why don't we just call him Senor Spider? Would that make you happy?
Senor Spider got a little alliteration to it. It's kind of good.
Senor Spider is here to save the day, man.
Ay, no me gusta.
Turn him into the bee guy from The Simpsons.
Channel Ocho.
But
that's it. I'm putting Senor Spider in Doomface. It's happening.
we joke about like, oh, it would be a stereotype and the accent and stuff. But Marvel creators actually do this when they made Miles Morales Thor in that issue. He's like, by Odin's fade, man. What the hell is going on in here? Like, it's like, whoa, what are we doing, man?
And his
like,
Jordans.
He's like
and the sneakers hanging from power wires. You know what that means?
Bro,
what does that mean, Sully?
Someone got rolled, and they took your sneakers and they threw your sneakers up there to mock you and to mock their territory and to be hey, yeah.
Or it's a sign for selling certain types of drugs, depending.
But you know what's hilarious is so that issue came out. That issue came out, and I remember back in the maybe it was the early '90s, an issue of What If, where they just had a one-panel joke that was like, "What if Luke Cage had the power of Thor?" And he's like, by the gleaming gates of funky Asgard, you suckers gonna eat hammer. And I was like, that's what that. And it's like that was obviously saying, look at how stupid this is. Yeah. And then they actually did it for real and treated it seriously.
Exactly.
That's how far we've regressed.
Yeah, we're so progressive, we're regressing.
Well, we rolled so far that we decided that hey, segregation's cool again.
It's an Ouroboros. It's just eating its own tail.
Glitchioki Doc, Aaron, are you excited for Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man? And are you excited for genderqueer Harriet Osborn and Black Norman Osborn giving Peter the fantastic or the suit? What's up with the blackwashing the redheads? The gender side is real.
I don't know, man. Everybody always talks about Norman's haircut and they say like, those waves, he's black coated. And it's like, I've met white guys with those waves.
My brother. My fucking brother has them.
And it was weird when I did because I immediately went, like Norman Osborn hair. They've got Norman Osborn hair. That was really based on something. It wasn't just an artistic choice.
And here's the thing. Whenever, like, my brother's basically blonde, which is really weird. And his hair has those exact fucking lines across it of darker with the wave. Like where everything sits, it looks exactly like that. So I'm so used to it not thinking it's ridiculous because that's just an artist rendition of my fucking brother's hair.
Yeah,
yeah, but are you excited for Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man?
Oh, absolutely not. The animation looks like absolute and complete garbage.
Yeah, and the character designs look trash. I don't like his basic uniform. I don't like the fact that they're having Norman put him in the Future Foundation uniform. Just everything about it. Like, I thought that this cartoon was supposed to be in the Tom Holland Spider-Man, like telling us his like high school years. You know, like the early things before Tony Stark came and got him. No. But no, because none of the characters look the same. Like there's nobody in there. Like everybody's kind of just race swapped around, and it just kind of feels like a really generic kind of show. I'm surprised that Peter is even white.
What happened to the animation in America, Aaron? I know you're a big cartoon fan, but it feels like we were getting better animation in the 80s, and it's like regressed in style.
Well, you had that whole, it's like, so it kind of started with Ren and Stimpy, like this ugly style of animation that was a little bit more basic, but that was like specifically meant for that show. Yeah, it was meant for that show. But then you got people kind of emulating that style, and then you got the whole Cal Art style coming in, where everybody's got bean mouth and everything kind of looks homogenized and the same. I mean, you go look at like the Pixar posters now, and even they've kind of like, they used to be the pioneers, and they put out like Onward and things like that, and it just looked like that could come from any studio. The way that they've kind of gone and the designs that they've kind of done, it's just a lot of people coming in from the same, they're learning animation in the same places and then coming in, and it's just all very homogenized. I think that you're going to start to see some differences now that the Animation Guild went for their new contract, and apparently they're making the same mistake that the Actors Guild did, or the Writers Guild, where they're asking for so much that the studios are like, okay, fine, but we're just going to put everything over in Canada and circumvent you. So if we do stuff in LA, you'll certainly have this contract, but
I don't think it's happening in Canada. I got a subscriber to the channel said like 85% of all Canadian animators are unemployed right now.
Really? Okay. So like I know that's where they took Moana too, but it's just all going to go overseas. It's going to be in places where they can get it cheap, and that's for those of you that are globalists. That's what you get. You're competing.
But back in the day when they did that, we got awesome animation in G.I. Joe and
Sunbeam
Transformers and stuff.
Or Sunbow, yeah, Sunbow did. But remember we even got an X-Men cartoon. We got that Pride of the X-Men was by Sunbow.
Yeah,
that's why Cyclops was Duke, and you had a lot of the voices recycled. But
oddly, Wolverine was Australian.
I'll tell you something, Dingo. You're like, what?
It's the weirdest part of that. But no, like the animation on this looks like it is quite possibly some of the worst animation I've ever seen.
It looks like it's supposed to be the animation that like is kind of supposed to be like drawn on a folder. Like I think they did it for Miss Marvel, and they did it for kind of the openings of Homecoming and things like that, if I'm not mistaken. Where it looks like something that like it's just some art student was doodling on his Peachy folder, if those still exist.
Yeah. HH and the fellows at Sigma Comics. Here comes Calico. Wes, Doc, Aaron, Josh, Sully, and MVP. My guys, keep it tuned to the very best comic book YouTubers. Hit like and then go and subscribe to it at Here Comes Calico. Absolutely.
HH.
Love those guys. And hopefully they are off to a solid 2025. And I imagine HH will be out on the road hitting the con scene in the not too distant future and selling Here Comes Calico by the tonnage, because that's how he does it nowadays. He doesn't measure dollars. He measures weight because he moves that much product. Congratulations to you guys. I hope you're having a fun time with the channel here. Federico de la Casa. Hi, guys. I think that we can reverse John Kent, Bobby Drake situation only with a Crisis Secret Wars event, a real restart, not a fake one.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be a hate crime?
Well, I still think we can reverse the Bobby Drake one. Well, no, I think you can reverse both of those two.
Yeah,
those two specifically. With John Kent, it wasn't actually John Kent that came back when he got aged up. It was somebody replacing him.
The kid's still in the volcano, right?
And with Bobby,
Earth 3 John Kent.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah,
and with Bobby, he made him gay as punishment.
Yeah,
she thought that that was the like 15-year-old Jean. You could blame it on her being childish,
right?
And thinking that him
Snapping the carrot. Just say it.
Yeah, Bobby being a little bit of a perv. Well, then Bobby being a little bit of a perv, like towards girls, the appropriate punishment was to make him gay.
I'm sick of thinking of you thinking about me when you.
Yeah,
I never tossed off to anything. Yeah, in the bathroom.
He's bubble fisting.
I know.
Weird science.
And so that's those two specifically you can fix. Now, Tim Drake, nah, that's only solved by a crisis. Sorry.
Yeah. Sabi reviews. Hey, Comics Aficionados, I highly recommend Nosferatu. It's a fantastic gothic horror remake. And thank you, Aaron. I bought The Long Kiss Goodnight on Blu-ray.
Awesome. That's an awesome movie.
I love The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Your dog, Alice. It's been licking its ass for the last 3 straight hours. I submit to you there is nothing there worth more than an hour's attention.
That's I don't want to call it Girl Boss because it's not Girl Boss, but that's a female-led super or action film done correctly.
And we had no problem with it.
She wasn't OP or anything. She got her ass kicked, but she was well-trained. She was able to come back, get one over on the bad guys, and save her daughter in the end. That's a lot of fun. That's a good one. And Samuel
Bad
Jackson
guy's great,
is hilarious.
Yeah, Samuel Jackson's at his peak. Gina Davis is great in it. Brian Cox is fantastic. Like just everybody, the whole cast. Craig Bierko is the main villain is absolutely fantastic, and some really good Shane Black dialogue. That script actually caused a bidding war in Hollywood when it was going around. It was one of the first really big big wars over a script. Shane Black got a lot of money.
Josh, you're the movie aficionado. You seen A Long Kiss Goodnight?
I have. It's been years, but yeah, I have. I remember watching it with my brothers.
And?
It's good.
Oh, there you go.
Max hasn't seen it yet. Max wasn't born yet.
Have you not seen it, Wes?
Oh, I love that movie. I saw it when it came out in theaters. You gotta remember, I'm almost 50.
No, I
would have been right in my prime movie days, before I had the wife and kids and I still had money and stuff like that. MVP, you haven't seen The Long Kiss Goodnight?
No, I've not.
Fix yourself.
Yeah.
Fix yourself and go see the movie. You will absolutely love it. It's really, really good.
If I would have known that you were just sitting home alone painting miniatures on New Year's, I would have said, Max, come over, have some charcuterie, have a drink, and let's watch Long Kiss Goodnight.
And we're watching Long Kiss Goodnight. There you go.
Throw Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, throw Top Gun Maverick in there as well while you're at it.
That's another one. Yeah.
Sleepy Daco. I wish a white version of me would appear around the corner to affirm me. Also, Angeline is full name.
I think we all need a white version of ourselves to just pop out from around a corner and affirm us. Hopefully not
You're the best YouTuber in the world. I'm like, oh, thanks, pal. I thought about it that way.
Thanks, white me.
Yeah, you'd be like on the stream letting people know.
I'm here from the Multiversal Council of Views, and we just wanted to let you know.
If I had a white version of me popping around the corner, they'd be like, hey, you'd be really cool if you weren't gay, and then walk off.
It's the only thing that's really holding you back, if I'm being honest. Yeah. All right, see you later.
This is how you know that Yul Carter is not the movie aficionado.
Oh,
movie.
Ooh.
This is he's got no joy in his life. I don't know what it is.
Oh. It's definitely a product of its time, but I thought it was well done especially for by Finn. Yeah,
better than a product of its time. That's great.
Product of a better time.
Are we sure it's not just Angeline instead of Angeline?
Angeline is a female.
People are going to read it as Angeline instead of Angeline, and it's just going to be a name.
Throw some wings on the logo.
Name be Angeline.
I'm spitballing. I mean, I'm trying to invent the hula hoop here. You
don't need to. She's X23. That's a great name.
It's a good name.
Give her the Talon name back.
Ooh, there we go.
Yeah, see, Talon's not bad.
Names.
Name her Stabby Abby. Make it like a garbage joke.
I would actually, you know what? That's actually, you can go something so far away from Wolverine that it's very unique to her.
Wraith X7. Miles should lose his spider sense and his ability to clean the walls, but keep his other powers and become the new Prowler.
Is he still a vampire? Does he still make a magic sword?
Yes.
Like what?
Yes.
No,
I'm reading.
He was a vampire. He still is?
Yes, I'm reading Miles Morales Spider-Man by Cody Ziegler, and I don't mind it.
Well, he was hanging out at the barbecue, the all black barbecue.
Yes.
So why
he
would
wanted his steak done rare because he's a vampire?
Why was he not eating
Does he
them?
still have his spider sting thing where he electrocutes people?
Yeah, he's got all of his power set. Plus, now he's a vampire, and also now he's got a vibrantium enhanced alternate suit given to him by T'Challa, and he's on some kind of spirit quest with T'Challa, trying to get Bast the Panther to unvampire him from Anasazi, the spider totem, or something.
All right, Sparrow, is it unvampiring or de-vampiring? Which is he doing?
I mean, there's only one way to cure vampirism, and that's to have Blade show up. Yeah.
Revamp.
Revamp. No, that's when you were cured of vampirism, but you get turned into a vampire again, like Hannibal King.
Yeah.
Killed the lead vamp.
See, that's what we need to do. That's the book right there. That's what we should be pitching, Doc. Hannibal King revamped.
Yes. Hannibal King revamp.
But should Miles be the new Prowler? I mean, do we want him to take that name and
that's a legacy that makes sense, especially with his wall crawling ability.
Prowler sounds like a villain name. Like
Toby Brown is.
He sounds like he's going to sexually assault you.
Yeah. So there is such a thing as a vampire spider. Do we think that's why they're doing this to Miles, so they can call him like Vamp Spider?
I don't think that they're smart enough to know that.
Okay, well,
I think it's just purely coincidence. I mean, they gave him a sword because when you think of spiders, you think about swords. The fact that they all carry little swords.
Yeah.
Well, I'm watching The Lord of the Rings, and I've made it to the Return of the King, and that little stinger thing that it's got might as well be a sword. It stabbed Frodo right in the heart.
It could also be a spear.
It could also be a spear. I don't think they wanted to go that route. Rate Deck 7. A lot of 80s American cartoons were animated in Japan and had an anime feel to it, which is why they look so good. That is true.
I thought a lot of them were done in Korea.
That's next
did a
door.
lot as well. But I think the vast majority of the really popular ones were done in Japan. Sparrow, you're the cartoon guy. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, I mean, like a lot of the intros and stuff like that too. Like if you remember Thundercats, that intro is all Japanese, and it really sets your expectation for what the cartoon's going to be, and then you get to the actual cartoon animation, you're like, oh, this isn't even like Filmation He-Man level. This is bad.
Is anybody still reading Thundercats, the comic book? I gave up after 2 issues. It was awful.
You're a strong man. I gave up after 1.
Yeah.
Dynamite doesn't care. That's the biggest problem. Is just gather an IP, throw some covers on it. The interiors don't matter unless you have one of the, editors, one of the only editors there that cares about quality of comic books.
Kunichioki, the Cal art style of animation, like Steven Universe, is the only thing that remains. Animation is too expensive over in the West. Must now be outsourced. Most now outsourced. My bad.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah, also, unfortunately, we're still stuck with that Cal art style, that bean mouth kind of like,
It's quick, it's simple, it's very fast to draw and then to animate as a result.
Yeah, but it's fine for Teen Titans Go or something like that. That's not serious and it's just kind of goofy.
Oh, no,
if you
no.
want to have any type of good feeling, like cool, epic kind of action to it, it just does not work.
No.
And there's the weird in between Steven Universe and like good animation where you get like the She-Ra cartoon and and things like that where it's like it's just sort of everything's just sort of generally unappealing looking. And that's really the major issue is that none of these things look appealing anymore. They're not drawn to be exciting. They're not drawn to be toyetic. This is why Steven Universe could never really move any toy merch. This is why the She-Ra toy merch absolutely failed because it's not visually appealing to the eye. It doesn't fire a kid's imagination when they see it, and they don't say, man, I want to be that thing.
Is the Creature Commandos animation good, Aaron?
It's all right.
Better than you could have expected then.
Yeah.
Federico De La Casa, the Spider-Man animated seems like a 60s Peter Parker put in a hood plus blue-haired SJWs plus rainbow quotas. At the very least, everything seems forced.
Well, everything in animation takes so long that you're looking at like 2018 ideas
Mhm.
dropping in 2024. You know, there's not enough time to course correct that ship when you realize that, you know, oh shit, this isn't what anybody wants. Well, just dump it out there, hope it does something, you know, because we got to try to make something back on it.
Yeah, we think it's bad in comic books because everything's like 180 days behind of whatever was conceived. Animations, it's even worse.
I'm just waiting to see if we get like storylines that are like what they were watching on TV in 2018, the same way that we get whatever the hell Evan Narcisi was watching on TV 4 months ago when he wrote the script.
Mr. DC Comics, I would like to see top tier talent from Marvel and DC work on B and C list characters. I'd rather see that than the multiverse. Create new stars. I'm with you, man. That's why I'm excited. Like I think of Jeremy Adams as a top tier talent, and I'm super excited him to be on Aquaman.
Yeah, me too.
Because somebody's actually going to do something cool with it.
Yep. Well, they've done that. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that Bendis and Brian Reed did Miss Marvel. And
Jeff Johns did Hawkman.
Yeah.
I like that stuff.
You know, Dave Finch on Moon Knight.
I was just thinking of that.
You know, they've
Put
given
Donny Cates on the Guardians of the Galaxy when he was the hottest thing before he went to Hulk and Thor.
Yeah.
It sucked, unfortunately, but
He was on a Thanos book that was pretty good.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the one that launched his career where everyone noticed him. That Thanos book was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
What do you think, Josh? Are you excited for this Aquaman?
I am. I think it's one of the more promising books we're going to get in 2025. So, and look, it's one of the things, like, just get him in there and let him do his thing. Like, let him try to do 2 to 3 years at least of a story without interruptions or crossovers. Just let him go in there, do his thing. Let him do like what you're letting him do with Green Lantern. Just give him free reins to go and tell his story, because the character needs that at this point.
Yep. I mean, this is the first time they've done an Aquaman book since they gave it to Kelly Sue DeConnick, right?
Yep.
No, there was some Aquaman stuff after that by Chuck Brown, and that one dude. I forget his name now.
Well, sure, there was your stars in my ocean or whatever that stuff was.
Oh,
But...
God.
No. This is a real series.
You had to remind me about that. Jeez.
Where they were trying to retire Arthur Curry and elevate Jackson Hyde.
Yeah. But the last solo Aquaman series,
Brandon Thomas, that's the guy's name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not a Kelly Sue DeConnick fan, but I will say she also got the shit into. No, I will say she got the shit into the stick because they forced her to take the character when he had amnesia. So you're telling an Aquaman story without him being Aquaman. No one wants to read that.
Explain this to me, Josh. What forced her to make FML? Huh?
What the fuck is FML? I don't know.
Jeez, FML. It's terrible. That's what it is.
Current book. It's one of the worst comic books I've ever read in my life. Also, feels like it was written in 2018.
It probably was. Sue? That's why I didn't read it, because it was Kelly Sue.
A lot of these people just like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Wes.
I really appreciate all the comments, and that kind of leads us into our next topic. What comic books that we're looking forward to in 2025? This was just a list that I had of books that I think people could be interested in. This isn't all encompassing, but I definitely want to hear from the panel here. But we got a Solomon Kane. We've got a Space Ghost Johnny Quest crossover called Space Quest, a new Green Lantern Corps, a new Aquaman, a new Absolute Flash, Deadpool Wolverine, which actually came out this week, Ultimate Wolverine, and then Imperial, which would be another Jonathan Hickman thing. MVP, I know that you're a very discerning reader. You've got your favorites. You're willing to give a new comic book a chance. What is the book that's going to debut in the year of our Lord, 2025, that you think is going to be the hottest? That can't
before Doomface.
Before Doomface, absolutely.
Absolutely kneel before Doomface, but the one that can't miss, in my opinion, the one that's going to be a lock for me is going to be Solomon Kane. I think it's only a 4-issue miniseries, but it's by the same creator that did the Solomon Kane series in the Savage Sword of Conan magazine. So if it's anything like that, I'm here for it. I love Solomon Kane. I really think that when you get someone who incorporates his faith and understands his rich, articulate nature and how he fights and why he fights, it is a really, really cool representation of the character. And I just love reading that stuff because it feels very weighty and heavy. And, you know, he's always citing Bible verses of purging heretics and stuff. It's great. It's a lot of fun. And so I definitely want to say Solomon Kane is going to be a lock-in for me. But yeah, I'd also say just some other ones. G.I. Joe, I'm excited for. The main one in Skybound. I think they just came out with issue 1 not too long ago. So we'll see.
2 is out.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 is out? Okay, cool. Ultimate Wolverine, cautiously optimistic. Cautiously.
Bro, I'm optimistic. 100%
Really?
optimistic. It's Chris
Really?
Condon. It's Chris Condon. I will.
Okay.
He's given me. Look, between that Texas Blood and the Enfield Gang Massacre, he's given me no reason to hope for a good book.
That's fair. But
Wait,
it's
he's
an
giving you no
Ultimate
reason
line.
to hope for a good book? To hope
I
for
mean,
anything but a good book.
anything but a good book. That,
But it's an Ultimate line.
I thought, oh man, Josh has gone heel. He swerved us.
Oh God.
I don't know. It would just with the Ultimate line, as we talked about on our stream of worst comic books of the year from last night. The Ultimate line has not really produced anything of worth or note, in my opinion. So with another Ultimate line, it gives me hesitation because of editorial. But I mean, we'll see. It looks cool.
But to be fair, look at every writer on the Ultimate Line books that are out so far. Are any of those writers that you're like, oh, I love their stuff?
Never. Not any of them. No.
Because I could make the same argument. I am not excited at all about the Absolute line. I don't like anything that's out. I know that Wes likes Absolute Batman. It drives me fucking crazy because it's pulling they're talking about how different it is, but they're doing shit that they've been doing in Batman books for the past like 15 years.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's continuing to like make all these villains and everyone knows Bruce Wayne, and it just makes the world smaller. You've got 18 panels on a single fucking page of people playing cards, not once, not twice, but 3 pages in a row. You've got crazy 5-story high Batmobiles that's like a monster truck, which should be cool and is cool, but they're trying to act like it's super serious. So it's,
Yeah.
Anyway, the other absolutes that are coming out, you've got the Green Lantern from Al Ewing, like Just Shoot Me Now. But Flash is Jeff Lemire, and I like Jeff Lemire. That could be good. So
there you go.
Yeah, I mean, JSA number 3 wasn't that hot this week, and that's a Jeff Lemire. And I was kind of like, so I like Lemire when he's drawing his own stuff. That's my favorite.
I think the only other ones that I saw that looked interesting were any of the. I know Jeremy Adams is going to be doing Green Lantern Fractured Spectrum and Green Lantern Core. Those look kind of interesting. And then Tony Fleeks is doing a Thing book, like The Thing, Ben Grimm. So I was like, okay, I'll tune in for that. I love Ben Grimm, this man, this monster. And then Weapon X-Men, of course, we mentioned. Aquaman, of course, we mentioned. And then Batman Dark Patterns came out of nowhere, but I dug that first issue, so I'm interested to see where the rest of the series goes. But that's about it for me in terms of books I'm quote unquote looking forward to. I think I'm more curious than anything. But yeah I don't know. Is there one?
You guys named a lot of the ones that, I mean, Wes even in that opening. Until he got to the tail end. It was like, okay, what am I excited for? I'm excited for Solomon Kane. I think that Patch Zurcher, I love his art. He did a good job on the books in Savage Sword, so I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to Jeremy Adams Aquaman. Looking forward to the Green Lantern Corps. More G.I. Joe is only a good thing because I'm loving that so far. Those are the things that I'm like excited about. But it's like someone in the chat said, oh well, Hush too. I would normally be excited about Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee coming back to do a Batman story, but it's Hush too. Yeah. And I didn't think that it needed to be Hush. I thought it needed to be something else. I don't think Hush is an interesting character. I don't think he's ever been a particularly interesting character, and no one's really been able to make him interesting. The only time that he's even been remotely interesting to me was in Arkham City, the video game. And then they totally, because Paul Dini seemed to be taking that somewhere really cool. And then in the third one, they shit canned Dini off the project and said that they would write it in-house. And we got something totally different. We got a very predictable Jason Todd story. So,
plus the original Hush story is probably the most overrated Batman story of all time. Like,
it's a good
Batman
story
of all time.
It's a great marketing book, but it's not a good book.
Well, the villain of that story isn't even Hush; it's Riddler.
Yeah,
it's a good Riddler story that you don't know is a Riddler story until the end.
Well, it's a Riddler story that you don't know is a Riddler. I wouldn't throw in good anywhere in there.
It's pretty. I mean, it's pretty good. It was exciting week to week, and you got the big like at the time. You have to kind of view things too. I mean, it hasn't aged.
I'm with Josh that it's overrated because everyone throws it in the top 10. Because I don't even think it's like top 20 because Batman's got so many great stories.
It's average, but the art is fantastic.
Because of the Jim Lee art. Yeah, it's the Jim Lee art
so
that
much
puts it
better than average.
I'd say
that's what I'm saying. The book itself is average story-wise, but the art is good. But the problem with Hush 2 is the art that I've seen so far, it's like lazy-ass Jim Lee. He's not trying.
Yeah.
So
also,
that's problematic.
I'm just going to say it. I hate the way Jim Lee draws Killer Croc, the way he tries to turn him into a Damonite from Wildcats.
Oh,
yeah.
And I hate the way that Jim Lee draws the Joker. I can't stand it. I can't stand his Joker.
My goodness. So I'm assuming that we already talked about Absolute Flash on here, Josh. That's
I mentioned it because I said Jeff Lemire is usually a solid writer to fall into. So I'm looking forward to that one. I'm ready to give it a chance. And I mentioned Ultimate's Wolverine because of Chris Condon. Like for me, that's reason enough to check out that book. So
I'm starting to feel like maybe this Absolute Universe isn't going to work out. I'm not enjoying Wonder Woman. Superman is not the book for me. I like Batman because it's funny.
But I thought the thought of Al Ewing doing Absolute Green Lantern gave you a boner. Like I thought you were.
The thought of Al Ewing writing anything doesn't do much for me these days. I think Immortal Hulk was one of the biggest outliers in comic book history.
And then you got, isn't it Dennis Camp that's coming in to do Absolute Martian Manhunter? Yeah.
That's going to be great. That's and not
Jeff
in a good way.
Was not a good writer. That is insane, Evandro. Like Jeff Loeb is a great writer.
Yeah.
Just
the color books.
The Marvel color books are great. The Long Halloween, the sequel to that. Which one is that?
Dark Victory.
Dark Victory is absolutely fantastic.
Dude, Superman for all seasons. Like
yes, he did Ultimatum, but we have to forgive him for that. He was trying to be Mark Miller, and he wasn't good at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the role that they cast him in. They said be Mark Miller, and he couldn't do it.
Yeah, but I don't know this Absolute Universe. I'm hoping that Absolute Flash is good because I like the Flash as a character. And I think Lemire at a baseline is at least passable as a writer, and his ceiling is much better than that, and is very good, compelling stuff. But I still don't see it going anywhere other than an inevitable crossover.
The only thing I might mention that we haven't mentioned is I feel like Rick Remender's been putting out some really good stuff lately between Grommets and Sacrificers. I didn't care for Grommets is great. That's such a fun book. I don't really like his Napalm Lullaby, but he's got the seasons coming out, which could be good. But there's a book that he hasn't announced the title of that's supposed to come out later this year. And it's him and Daniel Acuna on art. And that could be really good. They've apparently spent like 3 years working on it to make sure it's just like nailed down.
Acuna's a good artist with the right book.
Yeah. They're like, he's given him 3 years to just take your time painting. So that could be a freaking awesome book.
That's rad.
Nobody's on the Imperial bandwagon. No one likes Hickman anymore.
Nope. Don't care.
Hickman's kind of in a leaning where he hasn't really delivered. If you look at Ultimate Spider-Man, it's been boring. What was the Gods or whatever book that he had? Just boring.
What was even the purpose of that?
Yeah.
Hickman doesn't human very well. He doesn't write characters with humanity that hooks you in. He's a big concept guy. And, when he does a short story, one of the things that he did early in his career that I really love is I really loved Nightly News. And I liked his Avengers run, but I always thought that it lacked humanity. And I think that's his big problem is I think that he is, I think he's definitely on the spectrum somewhere, but he's in the big idea portion of it. And he doesn't really connect well to, writing characters. And I think in Ultimate Spider-Man, he's really trying, to make that feel like a real relationship. But to me, it just doesn't ring true.
Yeah, it's like he should be like a group editor or like the lead editor.
No, he was the head of X, and that didn't work out. He hired Tini Howard.
He's the world's worst judge of talent too.
But could he, if he had control, could he have kept Tini Howard, doing what he needed her to do? Could he have directed these people? And because that's a big part of, being a group editor is directing all the talent and keeping them all in line. And part of being an editor is keeping your writers in line on, especially when you're on properties that they don't own. Now, if it's their property, hey, sky's the limit. Go do whatever you want to do. That's your, that's your thing. But when you are working with established IP, you have to keep everybody kind of focused. And I think that he might be good at that. Unfortunately, his time at as the head of X, Jordan White was in control, and that guy is just riding around on a unicycle, juggling, little ukuleles, going, "Look at how delightful I am! Look at my barbershop quartet haircut!"
My goodness. Have you read Black Monday Murders, Aaron?
Have I read what?
The Black Monday Murders.
I have not.
You should check that out from Jonathan. If you like nightly news,
I will check it out.
Good. It's very, very interesting. It has some themes that I think would absolutely resonate with you.
Sweet.
All right, Doc, do you have a book that you're looking forward to in 2025? I know that you're ice cold to new comic books, but we thawed you out a little bit this week with that Cable book, which technically is a 2025 book since it came out this week.
It is. I will read the second issue. There's the possibility that I may read the third.
I pray.
Assuming a bit. It's David Pepos, so we can't guarantee there will be a fourth.
Space Ghost is great.
No, I mean he gets canceled because he doesn't sell.
Well, it's like Space Ghost, like we were saying.
It's a miniseries
with him is really good. And I think that like we were talking about previously at Marvel, a lot of these ideas that these guys work on are handed to them by editors, and they say, "Hey, here's this crap idea, make it work." So like here's this Joe Garrison character trying to make it work, and you just can't. Because people don't want that. People want the Punisher. But you give them something like Space Ghost that they didn't even know they wanted, and maybe he can knock it out.
Yeah, so I mean, look, I'm willing to give it a shot. It feels like a decent enough comic, even though it feels like it's very, very, very spiritually kind of partially. It's like a Frankenstein together clone of a bunch of other Cable comics from the past, but it's not too bad. So I may give it a couple issues. I'm definitely looking forward to the continuation of G.I. Joe.
What about Ultimate Wolverine?
No, I'm actually.
It's gonna be good.
I have very. Look,
Mortal Kombat Ninja Wolverine is my kind of Wolverine.
I understand that Chris Condon has written a bunch of very like uber violent stuff. He's also an idiot commie, so I don't expect
only
much.
Read people that aren't idiot commies in comic books. You can only read like 3 writers at Marvel and DC.
Yeah, I know, and they're the only ones that are actually any good. But so I don't know. I may give. It's unlikely I'm going to give a fuck about it. I'm looking forward to seeing Jonathan Hickman try to shove the entire 18 months of plot that he should have been writing during Amazing Spider-Man or Ultimate Spider-Man into the last 2 issues before the Maker comes out in another 5 months, when all the plot will suddenly start happening. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to all the people that excuse the fact that he basically stole, I don't know, $75 from you in the process. Make excuses.
How about this one, Doc? There's going to be a Common America Arc Athena crossover in 2025.
Ooh.
That is something I am definitely looking forward to. I'm also looking forward to Doomface. That's one that I'm absolutely looking forward to.
Yeah.
But I want to see. I hopefully friend of the channel Eric Canetti. I think he has Arc Athena number 5 coming out soon. Ish, and then there's one more. I think it's 6
altogether. I'm in.
Yeah,
I love those books.
I already have the first 4.
Me too.
Fucking love them.
Awesome books.
So, looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Joe Kelly and Joe Casey both being back in the X Office tangentially to see if maybe they can add some, I don't know,
How's Joe Kelly in
competence.
the X Office? He's doing Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, you're right.
Casey's doing
Casey's doing Weapon X-Men.
X-Men, which definitely should be excited. I should have mentioned that one. I feel stupid now.
Yeah, I am looking forward to Weapon X-Men. Even though it doesn't seem like it's anything like his original premise, it's being shoehorned into an event that it wasn't designed to be part of, and it might end after the tie-in. But with any luck, they'll actually just relaunch it as the original fucking,
I think that's what they're going to do.
Premise. Hopefully, and then like actual Weapon X-Men ends up being really good.
Sully, did you get your most? I'm sorry.
Oh no! Just real quick, did you guys hear anything about Vatican City from Mark Miller? It's going to be a 3-issue miniseries.
Yeah, with Narwhal.
Narwhal,
yeah.
Anything on that from? No.
I said something to Mark on Twitter. I asked him a question. I was like, "Is this a continuation of Nightclub? And is this set in your Millar world?" And he's like, "That's a good question. It's kind of, there's an Easter egg in Magic Order. There's a world that they hide in a book, and that's the Vatican City book. So it exists in its own Miller world multiverse, but it's not part of our that big game world. It's not part of that world."
Okay. Cool.
I'm definitely looking forward to that one. All right, Sully, you are the most optimistic old head comic book reader that I know these days. Did we get all the stuff you're excited for? What are you excited for?
I am excited to continue with the great books that I'm already reading, such as anything by Jeremy Adams, most things by Philip Kennedy Johnson, the Energon universe, Larry Hama's G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, Ghost Machine, especially Rook Exodus. I mean, Jeff Johns is just doing great work over there. But for absolute new stuff, I'm a little ignorant to like what new releases are coming.
Are you excited for that Book of L from Phil Kennedy Johnson? That's going to be a continuation of that Future State thing he did?
Maybe. I'll check it out. I usually like his stuff. So I'm like, I got Hell Hunters. Was it last week before?
Yeah, that was good.
And that was good. And
I liked it.
And I just like being like so tuned into him that like, okay, that's a Philip Kennedy. Yeah, put it on my pull list, please. Anything by him, and I'll check it out. But unironically, what am I looking forward to most in 2025? I'm saying this without irony, or I'm not saying this to stir up any
critical
talk.
YouTube. I love it.
Rainbow the Brood from All Caps Comics.
Oh wow!
Oh, you think you're going to get that in 2025?
I'm an optimist.
Very optimistic.
That's exactly, there's the, but we should, if all things are fair and equal, we should be getting that book this
is
year.
the thing that someone asked me. They said, "Do you think that Doomface will be," which you just ran the campaign for, starting at the end of November into December? Do you think that will be in my hands before Rainbow the Brute, which I paid for 3 years ago? And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's not up to me. I mean, we're certainly going to turn Doomface around, because I want to get that second volume into people's hands. I want to keep it going.
But also I need to order Black and White Volume 3 by Art T. Bear. And also because I missed out on 1 and 2, so he's got a 3-volume bundle.
Who co-wrote number 3, Sully?
I believe that was Mr. Aaron Sparrow himself. This is not a shameless plug. I'm just answering the question. I'm looking forward to being part of the Black and White world with Art T. Bear and Aaron Sparrow. So I should be getting 2 Aaron Sparrow books this year, maybe. If maybe Doomface.
Always looking forward to the Winds of Winter in 2025. Yes.
He's been done.
George R. R. Martin, he's going to knuckle down and he's going to deliver for Sully.
You bunch of rubes. He's been done for years. He's sitting on it. That's my theory. A theory of Ice and Fire.
No wonder he can't turn it in.
Really. I just think it's because there's so much violence in it that what woke editor is going to greenlight this thing past 2015. I think that's where it is, man.
I'm pretty sure when your book is that successful and you had a TV show based off of that successful and you have multiple shows on HBO based off of your books, you can print whatever you want and they're not going to stop you at that point. I think he just made his money and checked out.
Well, we will see
on Winds of Winter.
But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to in 2025. Like some crowdfundings, coming through. Yeah.
Very, very nice. Did we get everybody shit in? I feel like we did. Let's do it. We got Mr. DC Comics is saying Deathstroke the Terminator 2025. That's the book I want to see return. Dan Mora, Jorge Menez, or Rafa Sandoval on art. Want to see Slade be a badass. So you are in luck. I don't think you're going to get Deathstroke the Terminator in 2025, but Deathstroke is in Titans right now. He's been like the guy behind the Clock King, right? Isn't that what's going on, Sully?
You're not reading Titans? I'm not reading Titans, no. And
why not?
Because
John Layman blocked you or something?
No. But I'll have to check that out. Make sure he's not blocked me.
John Layman's a bitch.
He is, but he's got Deathstroke the Terminator as the villain behind the scenes.
Well, the last one I read was his first issue on after Tim Taylor stepped away from the book, and it was mediocre. Like that was the one. Wally's stepping away from the team, and Donna is now elected the leader of the team. Yeah. Isn't Nightwing stepping away too?
No, he's stepping back because there's so much crime in Bloodhaven that he can't handle leading the team and fixing Bloodhaven.
I mean, geez, you opened the prisons, man. What the heck? What do you think was going to happen?
Yeah. But the second issue doesn't get any better, in my opinion. But the third issue, I do think, had an improvement to it, and I'm hoping that Titans gets good because I love a good Titans comic book.
Love a good Titans book.
That's where Deathstroke is right now. He's actually present.
I thought he was dead.
I thought he was too.
He
does look like he's been burnt up or something.
It was after because he was like last time we saw Deathstroke. He was in a it was Dark Crisis, and he was in a holding tank, like a Bacta tank or something like that. And Waller was looking at him, and that's the last time I saw him.
Yeah. But he was also in that Jeremy Adams Green Lantern Green Arrow World's Finest book. That was a lot of fun.
But wasn't that set back in the ago?
What are you spoiling for? Are you spoiling the book for people?
Oh my goodness!
Josh hasn't even read it yet.
Jeez, Sully, why don't you just walk up to poor Jeremy Adams, just slap him right in the face? What's the matter?
Wow.
Kick his
Let the man tell his story.
Ruined it for me.
You don't need to read the book.
I've got it sitting right here waiting to read. Now I don't even know if I want to read it now.
What a masshole I am.
But it is in continuity. It places it in continuity in the past. Yes. It was actually cool though. I like that story. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a
waiting
stealth.
For Rainbow the Brute is his villain origin story.
It's also a stealth Green Lantern Flash crossover book that you didn't even know was going to be in there, which I thought was cool.
Also, if you want some Slade out of continuity, DC All Winter has been kind of fun.
It's over. The last issue came out 2 weeks ago. I think it ended on a very high note. I think the best issue was the final issue.
Yes.
And they also had an Aquaman backup story into that last issue that a lot of people were enjoying with Riccardo Federici on art. That was pretty, I guess, a high note for some people. But there you go. Thank you very much for that. I think we've had a good time. I think we got our shit in. There's some chicken nuggies in my future. So we should probably talk about some comic books to recommend and bid our adieu. Mr. Sparrow, you had technical difficulties to begin with. We didn't get to talk about what was going on in your life. Did you have a fun time bringing in a new year?
I did. I had a great new year. Now I feel bad knowing that Max was just sitting painting miniatures.
Were you on MVP's OnlyFans watching him paint? Now
your silver pants will be blue. Yep. he's talking to the little miniatures like they're his only friends. It's so sad. Yeah. Only sads with Max. No, I had a really great new year. I had a really great holiday. We finally opened the Christmas presents. I got some really great stuff. I was showing some of it off. I got a Intellivision cartridge sealed in the box, like still mint, of Night Stalker, which is one of my old favorite Intellivision games. So that was kind of cool. Nice. I got Marie got me the G.I. Joe paperback, so I can sit and read like an easier volume than the ones that I backed on Kickstarter. Got some great clothes for convention season, new shoes, can't complain. Everything's good. Got some good toys too, but I mostly bought those for myself.
Well, very nice. You got any big appearances coming up this week?
Yeah, I'm taking it easy. In about a week, I'm going to go on a 2-week writing sabbatical. Don't worry, I'm taking my equipment, so I'll still be available for the podcast and everything. But I'm going to take a 2-week sabbatical. I'm going to go up to a cabin, and I'm just going to sit and I'm going to write the next couple volumes of Doomface.
Dude, you could come here to the Philippines for 2 weeks. I put you up in the room. It's got a bunk bed. The kids will not bother you whatsoever. You could knock those books out. No problem.
I'll tell you what would happen is I would show up, and it'd be the same thing that always happens. Your kids would decide I was a jungle gym, and by the time they were done climbing all over me and having me choke slam them onto the couch and all the stuff that kids want to do, I would be so exhausted I wouldn't get any writing done. They would go to sleep, and I would pass out until they woke up.
You'd be happier though. It'd be fun.
I would be happier.
Man, have you seen any of those like horror movies where a guy goes to the like a cabin in the woods to get away from it all and finish his book? It never ends well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go full secret window. Like John Turturro's gonna be showing up going, "Doomface was my character."
Hey,
it won't be John Turturro. It'll be Roy Thomas. It'll be Roy Thomas coming up and going, nice character you got there. Sure would be a shame if I co-created it.
Let's not forget that.
Are you going up to Big Bear? Is that where you're hiding out?
No, I'm going up to Washington State.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the family cabin and
Evergreen University.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Josh. I interrupted you twice.
No,
I'm a jerk face. You should.
No, you're good, brother. I was going to say, let's not forget that that's what Tom Taylor did, and then we started getting all that shit from him. So be careful about going to a cabin in the woods to write.
Sparrow's going to come back woke as shit.
I know.
Yeah, that's right.
How could I have created Doomface? Be apologizing to everybody. Oh, God. They replaced him.
So
model decoy.
So patriarchal. That's what happens. You go up there and then they MK Ultra you. It's like, oh, he's off the grid for 2 weeks.
That's when we take them.
Yeah. All right, Sparrow, you got any books you want to recommend this week?
No.
It was a light week. It was very difficult.
Yeah, it was really tough. I looked around and I was like, surely there's got to be something I'm missing. I haven't read it, but I might check. And as loath as I generally am to buy things from Boom Studios, I might check out When I Lay My Vengeance Upon Thee. That actually looked kind of interesting and it had an interesting art style. So I might check that one out. But that's otherwise, nothing else grabbed me.
Yes, it's a very difficult week, and we're struggling just to find things to do a best of the week show with Drew. But we're still going to come out with it. But I do appreciate Aaron. I'm glad we got over the technical difficulties and the signal work at the end. Want to say thank you very much to Josh for joining us again. It felt like he had turned his back on the entire Thinking Critical family. Didn't want to have anything to do with this. I saw he was talking smack behind our backs, but he's finally back home again.
I was trying to create some a feud to help fuel some buzz for me. That's what that was. Look, the only two books that I've read so far this week were unfortunately Sam Wilson, Captain America, and Cable, Love and Chrome. Sam Cap was awful. Don't get it. I might pick up the next issue of Cable. We'll see. Other than that, two other books that I picked up were JSA and Batgirl. They're both kind of like this issue is going to determine if I keep reading them or not because I'm just barely hanging on to the fence for both. And then
I would have dropped Batgirl and kept going with JSA if I were you. That was my feelings after those two issues.
My hope was I didn't mind the first issue of
I thought it was really good.
The second issue was not good.
The third issue's worse.
Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah, it's going to be dropped then. I did pick up the Adam Project, so we'll see how this goes. I don't know if anyone's read this, but it's Ryan Parrott, and I think Ryan Parrott's got a pretty big
John
future.
Ridley, first off, with Ryan Parrott helping.
Okay,
well, the art is terrible in that book, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, we'll see. But
enjoy.
Separate Ryan Parrott book that it has potential as Vicarious. So I don't know if you guys have been reading that, but it's.
Have you read that one?
Yeah. You
like it?
The book? I've read the first two issues. And there is a lot of potential there. So.
There you
go. My thing.
Human sex toys, like you give away your body to be used as a streetwalker for people with money.
But they're not they're not presenting. You can do all sorts of things. Like people are eating through, like, you know, like, oh, I've got diabetes, I can't eat, so this person's going to eat for them. It's kind of the same concept as Dollhouse of whatever fantasy you want to have, you can live vicariously through another person. But they've started introducing small little plot elements that looks like it's going to go in a lot of really dark directions, but also a lot of kind of cool crime elements coming in. So we'll see if it delivers.
So you're telling me I should check out the because the first issue didn't get me. I was like, oh, it's just going to be a perverted sex book.
Let me read the third issue, because I wasn't sure I liked the first issue until the very end. Like how they ended that first issue, I was like, okay, I'm coming back.
Like I don't go to comic books to get my rocks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, we'll see. I'm not.
Yeah.
It's. Let me put it this way. It's not in my top 10 list for this year.
It's not committing.
It's not. No, it's not an honorable mention, but it's good enough that I'm willing to check out a few more issues and see where it goes, because it looks like it could be building to something really good.
Very nice. We've also got MVP. Definitely support MVP. Go check out his Warhammer channel. He's been screwed over by YouTube. He's been bamboozled on some stupid false allegations going out there. The man loves comic books. He's got his live streams going on Fridays. Do you got anything you want to recommend this week?
You know, I didn't actually read anything this week, so unfortunately I don't have any books that I could recommend from this week. But I will say, I'll just kind of reiterate for 2024, some of my favorite books of the year were things like Conan, whether it's Conan the Barbarian or Savage Sword of Conan. Both were fantastic. Farrell, Nottingham. There was Frankenstein, and I'd say there are plenty of others, but those are the ones that really stick out to me, that really like made a great difference. And anything Skybound, whether it's Transformers, G.I. Joe, Duke, all that great stuff. So I'd probably recommend those as far as like a 2024 list, but nothing this week, unfortunately. But thanks for having me on again, brother, and it was a pleasure.
We are going into 2025. A lot of people have New Year's resolutions about weight loss. You went from 290 down to about 215. What would you suggest people do if they want to drop, 75 pounds?
Oh my goodness.
Cocaine.
Well, yeah.
You did cocaine to lose weight? No.
I mean, it'll get you going, but no, I could, I wish I could just have like a simple sentence, but really it's just about calories in, calories out. So how many calories are you intaking and how many calories are you burning? So I would say if people are really overweight and really unhealthy and want to just start that process, start small by cutting out little things throughout your diet or throughout your day. You don't have to start eating like chicken.
Is there a way
rice,
to
and
do
broccoli.
it without that? Because I like my Coca-Cola. I don't want to drop my one treat.
If you train, then if you work out and you're burning those calories, well then, sorry. Unless God's gifted you a brilliant, beautiful gift of genetics, then you're good. But yeah,
no,
so
I don't have that type of metabolism.
Yeah,
you should do a weight loss channel, dude. You can throw it over on the OnlyFans.
Ooh,
you could wear the helmet while you're on a treadmill.
Yeah.
In your silkies all the time.
Yeah, I do like those videos of like the guy on the treadmill who's like getting ready for my trek to Mordor, and he's got a big pack on and he's got a barbell and he's acting like he's Sam or Frodo and he's like running up the treadmill. But yeah, so
man, you even nerd out working out and make it lame, huh?
Oh, dude, when I think about like training, if I'm like in the squat rack or if I'm like bench pressing or something, I'm like, I'm a Space Marine training for battle. Like every time I think of something, it's not just working out. It's how can I
think that's universal. I think guys, I think we all have that like sort of thing. Like just whether it's that or like you're listening to the Lord of the Rings soundtrack while you're on the treadmill and you're like, yeah, I'm running to more. We're chasing down the orcs that have Merry and Pippin. It's like you're always. It's just like when guys get on a plane and they immediately start going like, man, if a terrorist situation started to go down, here's what I do. Like we start like prepping for it. We start like
stuff,
it's just kind of ingrained in us. We wave our hand at the automatic doors because we're either Magneto or a Jedi, depending.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I like it.
Very nice.
But I think you're right with all men tend to do that more. So I agree.
There you go. It's not just a play, people. He really is a dork, no matter what.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
Can confirm.
We've also got Sully, the Sultan of Soup himself, the only man that can balance comic books and cooking into one cohesive YouTube and TikTok
channel. Yeah, exactly. I'm not on TikTok yet. I was hoping, but I'm mulling that over. It was either that or OnlyFans. I was gonna just cook in an apron. That's pretty dangerous, and you're gonna need a hairnet for unless you manscape. That's a personal thing. A couple of comic books this week that I liked, and I'm so glad none of us mentioned Ultimates #8. But oh my god, that was such a terrible book. You look, I figured this out. Dennis Camp fans, they're like Snyder Bros, but a lot more soy. So I'm calling them campers from now on, going forth, because they just defend this book. But Deadpool Wolverine #1 by Ben Percy and Company. It was pretty fun. I had a great time reading that book, and but it was such a weird light week on Marvel, and I kind of liked Batgirl #3 because I missed 1 and 2. So I'm walking into this cold. So I get where you're coming from, but like ultimately, I liked those big splash pages fighting through the subway cars. That was kind of cool.
Both of them.
Yeah. I thought that was I liked it. And Poison Ivy 29, that was good. But I've been really liking that series anyway. I got 3 new funny books this week. Actually, 1 from last week. But I got Hellhunters #1. But I got the Stormbreakers Next Generation of Elite Artists variant cover because I could, and it was on the shelf. And
well, what's the Stormbreaker artist? What's the Next Generation artist?
His name's Chris Allen. And so
he was doing the Black Panther versus Predator versus Black Panther book. He did the parts that look good.
Oh, okay, cool. Because I actually like that book. That's the last book that I liked Sam Wilson in, and because he was a Falcon, acting like Falcon. But I only got 2 new books this week. I got Savage Dragon, 274. I just started buying this book and reading it, and I like this book a lot. I love the art. I like its campiness, its cartooniness, its ribald sense of humor. It's inappropriate. This is not for a general audience, and I'm down with that. I've always liked, goofy adult humor in comic books. And I got Absolute Superman #3. They're both on my pull list. And Absolute Superman this week, it actually, we're left with the ending with a twist that makes me look forward to upcoming issues of like, wow, is this person really ... no spoiler, so that had some satisfaction story-wise. I mean, it's okay, but it's what I'm buying for the Absolute books. That's my contribution, that's all you're getting out of ETC. Yeah, and that's all the books I read this week. Oh, you liked Avengers a lot? Of course you would. I hated that book this week.
Really? I thought that was the best issue of Avengers that Jed McKay's probably done. It certainly looked the best. The Fareed Karami art was spectacular.
Oh my God. Tell me, how is Felicia Hardy supposed to get through, air conditioning ducts with looking that thick? I mean, it's just complete suspension.
You're upset that she was voluptuous. Get out of here.
Listen, Sully, I'm gay, and I was like, "Damn, Felicia,
damn, look at that, proper." I get that on Carol. I mean, but not on Felicia Hardy, because it's like she's a cat burglar. She's more like a snack burglar in this.
No, you're a fool.
She's got to be able to. She's got to be able to squeeze into into tight spaces.
Spaces, man. Not with
she
that
wants
thing.
you to look one way while she's doing something else, and she wants you to look at her caboose while she's stealing your diamonds. It only makes sense. You look great.
Hey, she does look great.
I didn't think Avengers was amazing, but I thought it was definitely good enough. I thought it was enjoyable.
Yeah, and thank you.
It does make sense if you read the book, Evandro. If you read the book, there's a heist going on, so it makes sense that Felicia would be there. Boom. So maybe I'll sell you. Got anything else?
Just my new setup. I finally got my spinner rack in my shot. I've been looking forward to this for a couple of years now. It's been in my living room, away from the camera, and now it's part of my YouTube studio and part of my comic book channel. So that's rewarding. So this is the first big live stream I've done from my new setup. I brought my woke Sully. My goodness.
Soy-based Sully. That's the new name.
Right. I'll be joining the Dennis Campers any second now.
Last but not least, we do have Doc. Doc is having a wonderful 2025. Are you going to recommend any comic books and perhaps even something new this week? Perhaps?
Well, I am actually. I'm going to recommend that everybody go and check out our upcoming review of Cable Blood and Chrome #1. I can just say that I'm sorry, Love and Chrome. I'm thinking of the original miniseries that they stole the name from, Blood and Chrome. But no, I recommend you go and check out that our review of that, because you might be surprised at how not worst of the week this comic actually is. But we'll get started with some other stuff. All right. Remember back in the 90s when randomly they did the whole gender and race swap thing for all their villains? Why they completely missed the opportunity to call her Dr. Octopussy. I mean, it was right there. They missed it. They still called her Doc Ock.
Mm-hmm. I remember when Octopussy, when my brother and I watched that Bond film, and you get to the part where Maude Adams says, my father called me his little Octopussy. And then I would always do Roger Moore going, well, I think your father had a filthy mouth.
But yeah, so we will go with, this is ASM 397, I think. But yeah, they completely missed the opportunity. Then we will go with something else. I think Wes is still doing this on the Patreon on the Comics Guild.
It's a great
100%. Third issues coming up next week.
All right. Nice. So Sleeper by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. If you like the stuff that they've done on Criminal, I believe this is their first time ever working together. And it led to their long continued, partnership. At this point, they've been going on for probably almost 20 years working together. And at least the last 10 has been almost exclusively together. But Sleeper, really good book, especially if you like some of the more, if you don't mind the Wildstorm universe, but you don't necessarily know a lot about it. This is kind of, you don't need to know a lot to really appreciate this book. Wonderful series. Then we will go with, this is still one of my favorite individual issues, Uncanny X-Men 268. However, this particular one is the J.C. Penney reprint. So there's 3 covers for this. You can't tell the difference except for by the little thing down here. The direct edition had just the Spider-Man head, and the newsstand obviously had the barcode. But a couple of years later, when they reprinted this, and it would have been 92, I think, they did this 30th anniversary ASM little block, and it was the J.C. Penney reprint. They did J.C. Penney did a bunch of these reprints in the 90s. And then finally, personal favorite story of mine, Life Death. Mine.
Forge and Storm.
Yeah, it's Forge and Storm. This is where they actually kind of start developing a relationship. Because remember, leading up to this, Forge is the guy that created the gun that took Storm's powers away. So, and she fucking hates this dude. And it ended up being the start of probably about a 120 issue long, 130 issue relationship that probably should have had a better chance of going towards marriage than her with fucking T'Challa. That came out of left field. So, but yeah, and
Well, they were at
mine's
the same. They were at the same picnic, Doc. So.
Oh, okay. They went.
they're all
Yeah,
at
they
Comics
went to the same black barbecue. So why not?
You didn't get
Let's just
invited?
get fucking married. But yeah, so mine's a pretty one. It's signed. So
Man, you should probably crack that open and do yourself a favor.
no, I don't think I will. Although Yule would definitely want me to. But mine's signed by Stan, so I'm not cracking it open. Recommendations.
I messed that up.
No, yes, you did. Those are my recommendations for this week. But yeah, thank you.
Well, very nice. I think we had a fun show. Hope everyone is excited for 2025. We got some exciting stuff to talk about. Of course, Sam Wilson, Captain America, is not one of those. Do appreciate the panel. Had a lot of fun today, and I will see you all next week on Comics Aficionados right here on